All right, here we go. DJ Envy, welcome back to Vlad TV.
What's up, sir? Thank you for having me.
Man, a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
A lot going on. You know, with me, I'd announced that I'm doing my most expensive interview ever. You know, everyone's trying to figure out who it is. Then I announced it's Tekashi 6ix9ine. It's a 4-hour interview. Everyone's excited. We're about to drop it. But no, Breakfast Club got to go and do Dame Dash.
Oh, man.
Where he has a meltdown on the air.
Oh, man.
And everyone's looking at that. Everyone's looking at that. Thank you, DJ Envy. I feel like you did it on purpose.
I'm sorry. We didn't know. We didn't know what to expect.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. The Tekashi interviews do great, by the way.
I see.
So, Dame Dash goes back to the Breakfast Club, and all hell breaks loose. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised in terms of what happened?
As far as what part?
Just everything.
No.
No?
No, I'm not surprised. Remember the first time he came on the Breakfast Club and he was
Right.
having this boss conversation. And for me, that really bothered me. And not because he was saying that people should be entrepreneurs, but he was, in my opinion, talking down on people who had regular jobs. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't like that. You know what I mean? Because the quote-unquote regular jobs are the jobs that support everybody.
Yes.
They're the ones that were buying Rockaway back in the day. I was buying CDs and tapes back in the day. So I never wanted to people to feel that having a job was less than. Mm-hmm. You know, it's always good to be an entrepreneur. You know, I'm an entrepreneur, but I have a job, and I have no problem with that, and I'm proud to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, your job is the Breakfast Club.
Correct.
You show up Monday through Friday, early in the morning until what, 10 a.m.?
10 a.m., yep.
Yeah, and you get paid nicely for it?
That's right.
I mean, CEOs are employees.
Exactly.
And if you're a CEO for a company you don't own, like every public company, you are an employee.
Well, if you look at it like this, when you talk bad about employees and not being a boss, LeBron James is an employee.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Who else? Any one of your favorite athletes are employees. Messi is an employee. All these athletes are employees. If
Correct.
you look at it, now they're entrepreneurs. LeBron's worth $1 billion, but he's also an employee.
Right.
Nothing wrong with being an employee, in my opinion.
You could do both. You could have a 9-to-5 job, and you could also have your own business on the side. And that's actually how I started my first business. My first business, I was working, and I was building up money, and I think I built up enough for maybe 6 months of my expenses. Mm-hmm. And then I started my own company, which was the tech staffing company back in like 97, I think. And I said, look, I got 6 months to make it work. If this doesn't work, I'll go back to my job.
Pivot, right.
And it worked, luckily, but it could have not worked. And I went back to my employee job, and that's fine.
That's right.
Well, he said a lot along the way. He accused you of having a RICO.
Yeah, I heard that.
Let me hold one of your cars, when you get locked up for your RICO. You know what I mean?
I heard that. I don't know where he gets his information from.
I don't either.
I mean, I seen somebody online, he was breaking it down, which was all wrong. There's actually a dope lawyer, and I don't know her Instagram, that broke it down from the criminal aspect of what it really means when you really read it. And she broke it down amazing. But sometimes it just makes no sense to reply to just foolishness.
Yeah, a lot was actually said. Charlamagne started calling him Debt Dash.
Debt Dash.
His label would be Debt Jam.
Debt Jam, yeah.
He accused Charlamagne of being gay.
Yeah.
Which Charlamagne wasn't bothered by.
No, but this is the thing, and this is where I can tell sometimes people don't watch The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne and myself joke all the time.
Yeah.
Everything. So there's nothing that you can say about any one of us that's really going to affect us or hurt us. So for us, that's just jokes. And if you listen to The Breakfast Club, I call Charlamagne gay all the time. He calls me gay all the time. We call each other, we're the gay best friends. So nothing ever bothers us.
Look, there's a viral video of an interview I did with Ari Spears that got edited in such a way that makes me look like I watch gay porn, which I don't. Mm-hmm. But it got chopped up in a way. I'm actually talking about Kanye. Uh-huh. But it makes it look like I watch it. And I just laughed. I'm like, this is funny. I'm not gay. And, I think you're only bothered by a gay accusation if you're actually gay. And you're trying to, hide it.
You're trying to prove something.
Right.
I've been married 24 years.
Call me gay all day long. I reposted it. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Charlamagne's been married, I think, 13, 14 years. He's been with his wife since college. I've been with my wife since high school. I got 6 kids. He gets 4. Like, it's jokes at this point. We don't care.
Right. He called Charlamagne a poor role model for black men. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
I think that's laughable. I mean, you could love, or hate Charlamagne, but if you really look at some of the things that Charlamagne does for his community, it's actually very inspirational, right? The things that Charlamagne does, it makes myself, as somebody that does give back, want to do more. The scholarships, the endowments that he does at his mother's alma mater, what he does, the backpack giveaways for mental health. He's on the board of the African American Museum in South Carolina. What he does for his state. He does so much for people. He is definitely, and I ain't got to say this, but he's definitely inspiration for most. And what he does to give back is way past what anybody else would do. So when you hear stuff like that, you know that comes from a place of hate.
Yeah, he accused Charlemagne of having a crush on Jay-Z.
I seen that.
He said, did you buy that shirt? You know, Charlemagne said, yeah, I support black business. Oh, you know, you're either getting paid by Jay or you have a crush on him.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I really don't know what that is. I mean, Jay is somebody who's an amazing businessman. I mean, the man is worth over $1 billion.
He's an icon in hip-hop.
And I think we support a bunch of black businesses out there. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I love the fact that you support Rock Nation and he supports Emery Jones. He supports all those people. I don't have a problem with it because he supports me. He has a crush on him. What does that sound like to you?
Hating.
Exactly.
Hating. And I remember one of the funniest parts, because I watched the interview this morning, you know, all the way through. And, you know, like, I think Charlemagne's like, well, you're being a chatty patty. He's like, no, I'm talking about someone I know, someone you used to know. I just fell out.
But if you really watch that interview and really break down all the things that he said, you talk about a hypocrite. Yeah. He'd be like, oh, you're a chatty patty. I don't ever talk about everything. But every interview he does, he's talking about everybody else.
Yes.
Like, it's the biggest chatty patty. And the sad thing about Dame is you look at Dame's peers, right? Everybody he was been in this industry with, right? And remember, I was a DJ. I used to ask for Rockefeller Records, put on my mixtapes and all this other stuff.
Yeah, me too.
You've seen all the things that he created or he's done or been part of. But now you look at his peers, right? Whether it's Jay, whether it's Kevin Liles, whether it's
Cameron,
Kanye. Whether it's Kanye, whether all the things, people he was around, and everybody else is doing great. He doesn't look like he's doing that great to me.
Even Biggs is doing well.
Biggs is doing well.
Yes.
Like, they're all of them.
Yes.
Right? Now,
he's doing the worst. Let's just call it what it is. Look, me and Dame had a falling out years ago over something dumb. It was just something dumb, and I was going to keep it between us and plan on working it out with him later on. But he goes to the internet with it. He goes and makes a video and posts it about our conversation. But I'm the chatty patty.
Well, that's the new thing that he does now because he's creating content, right? He's trying to get his network off the ground and get it flowing. So he's creating the content and doing all these interviews, but like I said, it just, in my opinion, it just looks bad. Like, we want to remember Dame from Rockefeller, from creating the big organization that had artists like the State Property, Memphis Bleed, Cameron, Hove. We want to remember Rockaware. We want to remember those movies he produced. We want to remember that. But that's not where his legacy is leading him towards. It's not looking that great for him.
Yeah. He said something interesting. He said, we're talking about Charlemagne. He said, I can punch you in the face right now like a grown man and you won't do shit. If we were on the street, you wouldn't be talking like that. I would have fucked you up. What I'm saying is when you interrupt me and say certain things where I'm from, the masculine man will fuck you up. But I never got the impression that there's going to be a fight in the studio.
No.
Charlemagne just stood there and was like, okay.
No. Nobody was concerned. Nobody thought no fight was going to happen. I mean, this conversation. But this is the thing with Dame. If you follow Dame, right, whether you follow Dame when he had his radio show or you watch some of the old backstage stuff, Dame likes to snap on people, right? It's clear.
Yeah, he says snap on me. Yeah, when we're together.
You cry.
Yeah, but the thing is about snapping is that I think that should only come when you have a certain level of relationship and familiarity with a person. You meet someone and they start snapping on you, that automatically puts the relationship in a weird space.
Dame snaps on everybody, right? We've seen it. He snaps on everybody.
That's why I initially really didn't like being around him, because I'm like...
He snaps on everybody, right? So, but now he could give it, but he can't take it, pause, right? Because he could give it all day. But when it started coming back to him, it started bothering him to the fact that if you really think about it, I'm sure if you go to Dame's Instagram right now, he's still talking about a Breakfast Club interview that happened 3 weeks ago.
Look,
like the point where you got to say, my house is bigger than yours. My view is bigger than yours. Like, that is so childish.
You replied, though. Yes, you did.
I replied in the
you posted your view, right?
Well, I was in Greece.
Oh, okay.
I was in Greece.
I'm like, that's not his house.
No, I was at Greece.
Your house. I'm like, that's not his house.
I was at Greece at my daughter's engagement.
Okay.
When he's going crazy, I'm like, okay, show me your view. So I showed the view, a beautiful yacht. I was in Greece with my family, but no, I would never show him my views. You've been in my house before. I'm sure if worse comes to worse, you could tell him whose views look better.
I mean, it's a beautiful house. It's not really like, it doesn't overlook the ocean or anything. But it's
in
a
Jersey.
beautiful home. Yeah, it's in Jersey.
If I owned a house in Florida,
Right.
in a town where nobody knows, yes, I could have a view on the lake too. But it's not about the views. Like, we're not going back and forth about views, man. This is
Right.
I just want him to do well, man. I want him to be great.
The funny part is, this is the first time I've ever seen this on The Breakfast Club. He actually had to tap someone in. Like near the end of the interview, he's like, but let my OG talk for me.
Right.
It just got a little too hot for him, it seems.
Right. And that was part of it. He called Wendy Williams Charlemagne's OG.
Right.
And that was
Which
his
is
OG.
true.
No,
but that's true. And there's nothing
well,
wrong
OG
with
in
that.
the industry, I guess, brought him
Yes.
into the industry.
Not
But the
OG
thing-
on the street.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the thing with OG is OG had a story, right? And what OG was talking about was real. Like, he lost his wife. He does stuff for the community.
Correct.
He wasn't talking none of that nonsense. He wasn't talking none of that
he was
other
a voice
stuff.
of reason in that
He was a
room.
voice of reason in there.
Yeah.
But not only that, he was trying to get people to come to Harlem, and I think it's Heaven in Harlem that they do, where they bring people together. The mayor comes and they give back. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about none of that other bullshit.
True. But at the end of all that, now Dame is threatening to sue The Breakfast Club for defamation. You heard about this?
Allegedly, yeah. Allegedly.
I don't know if he's really going to sue.
Allegedly. I mean, I haven't seen a lawsuit as of yet, so
Well, it wouldn't be against you. It'd be
We'll
against
see.
the radio station, right?
yeah. But this is the thing: you got to prove defamation.
Right.
And how was he defamed? Revolt came out and said
Oh, yeah.
that.
That.
People from BET sources said that. Like, both of them said it wasn't true. So if the actual company is saying it was, like, I'm so confused with that.
He's been doing this. Remember years ago, he announced he's buying Karmaloot?
No.
Yes. Look it up. It's him and Kanye like hanging out. And he's like, yeah, I just going to say, I'm buying Karmaloot. We function on a different level here. They never bought Karmaloot. Mm-hmm. I know the company that bought Karmaloot. Because me and the president of the company were friends at the time. But yeah, he never bought Karmaloot. But he announces things as if they're a fact. And then he threatens to sue for defamation when it's proven that it was a lie. He's probably going to sue me over this.
I'm sure.
I have no idea. The thing is that how do you even sue at the point where you have no money, where you're minus 25 million in the hole? Like, no lawyer is going to take that on contingency. What lawyer is going to sue the Breakfast Club on contingency over that interview? None.
You know what? When you see these things, you just got to shake it off and laugh.
Well, but here's the thing, though, right? Mm-hmm. People want to count out Dame Dash, but he made a genius move because he's down 25 million, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he just sued Cameron for 300 million.
Right.
So that's 275 million
up, right.
After he gets that 300 million from Cameron.
Correct.
Boom. Chess, not checkers.
Chestnut check. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I laugh so much watching Dame Dash in his videos. I watch when his teeth fell out. I watch when he makes these accusations. It is what it is. I mean, like, it's really sad. And the reason I say it's really sad because I actually see the work that Dame put in for Rockefeller and Rockaware and Armadale and State Property and the movies. Like, I paid in full. Like, I actually seen the work. So to see him go out like this is it's just pitiful.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though, right? Was it really the work that Dame put in, or was the fact that he was partnered with Jay-Z?
You can't take away the work that he did.
I mean,
you can't take, like,
but look what happened when Jay-Z wasn't in the picture anymore.
It was three of them. Like, it was perfect time, perfect magic, right? It was the perfect time, right? He had another deal with Priority. It didn't work. They worked the deal. They got to Def Jam and took off. It was all three of them that made Rockefeller work. Now, if it was just Jay, could it have worked at that time? I don't know.
I think so.
You think so? I don't know. But because everybody played their part. It's like saying the Breakfast Club, right? If it was just Charlemagne, would it work? If it was just me, would it work the same? If it was just Angela Yee, would it work the same? Or the fact that you put us all three together and we all work together to get to that level. I don't know. I don't know what God would have had in store for us. And not to say that we all wouldn't have been successful, but maybe not like that.
But you could usually see the real talent when the partnerships break apart.
Correct.
And where the people continue to go.
Yeah, true.
Jay continued to elevate. Dame maintained for a little while and then went off the cliff. Biggs had a little bit of a hiccup over the whole arrest. I interviewed him about this. But ultimately, last time I checked with Biggs, he's always been financially good and he's got businesses with Jay and so forth. So the thing is like, did Dame really put in the work or did people tolerate him to work with Jay? You see what I'm saying?
That could be true too.
Do they just tolerate it? Because at the end of the day, who likes being yelled at?
Yeah.
In a business environment or a personal environment. Who likes getting yelled at? But when the person getting yelled at says, well, if I punch this dude in the face or if I just quit, then I can't be in business with Jay anymore. So I have to tolerate this.
I'm not, I don't want to defend Dame because whatever, but I will say this. Back in the day, maybe Dame was the businessman that got things done. Maybe he was the one that got the points, the contract, the money during that time. You know, maybe he was the business side of things, you know? Maybe Biggs was the money and Jay was the talent. I don't know because I'm way younger than them. Or same thing with the movie Paid in Full. Was that Dame's idea? Was that Dame's creation? Because that was a classic movie. That
100%.
was all Dame, they said. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know, Dame was, they said, the one that put Kevin Hart into a film. He was the one that allegedly pulled in, you know, Kanye when nobody else wanted Ye. So certain things that you say you can't take away from him. What we see now is pitiful, but what he did in his contributions to hip hop, you can't take that away from him. As much as he likes to yell, scream, and lose his teeth.
I mean, but I mean, Kanye was there because he wanted to be next to Jay. He wanted to produce for Jay and he wanted to rap with Jay and so forth. So, okay, so Dame found a guy that was in the vicinity that made sense. Look, he brought Cameron in, but Cameron was nice. A lot of times I just feel like Jay is the glue that held all this together. And once Jay exited out, you know, then of course he had the Rachel Roy thing. And that's cool. And I think the thing with Dave that he doesn't realize that he thinks it's always been him, when the reality, he's just been good at attaching himself to talented people. And that's what you have to realize. You have to humble yourself. You can't be the star when you're trying to attach yourself to the superstar.
But I will say one thing, and this is one thing that I don't think nobody talks about it much. How did Jay stay so long?
What do you mean?
How did Jay-Z, seeing this Dame Dash, stay that long in business with him?
Well, weren't they contractually tied until the company got sold? And then he went and bought all the masters out from under the whole situation?
I don't think I could work with Dame Dash that long. I just don't think, like, everybody who has worked with him said they didn't enjoy working with him, right? We've seen, you've done interviews with people.
Yeah.
So
I didn't enjoy working with him.
You didn't enjoy it,
Right.
but you see what I'm saying? So the fact that Jay was able to work with him that long is crazy. On tour and all the things, that's crazy.
Well, keep in mind, I'm sure that Dame around Jay was a totally different Dame. You think that Dame was like that aggressive around Jay and snapping on him and screaming and whatever else?
I don't think Dame has changed. I think he probably was worse when he had money.
With Jay, though?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so. People act differently with different people. People push the envelope with people they feel they could push the envelope with.
I agree with that. But I just think Dame back then, when he was on top of the world and Rockefeller was on top and everything that he was doing was on top, I think he was probably a worse person. My opinion.
I don't know, man. The Dame, back then at least he was truthful. Now he's just making up stuff. Like Revolt said, there is absolutely no path to acquisition by Dame Dash at all. Him being the chairman, all the BT stuff, it's all just made up. It's just made up.
Yeah, which I don't understand, but he keeps going with it, which is the craziest part, because Revolt sent out an email. They left a statement, but
Yeah.
it's to the point where it's like I said, this interview is the interview that just won't go away. Like, I'm tired of hearing Dame Dash.
Well, Nicki Minaj accused you of blackballing her. Now, this situation was around her threatening
DJ Self.
DJ Self. There we go. Thank you for correcting me. So tell me how this whole thing played out.
So first and foremost, I love my DJs, right?
Yeah.
I'm from an era of DJs, whether we knew each other or didn't, there was competition, but we all worked with each other, right?
True.
We were all cool. And a lot of times DJs are the last man on the totem pole, right? That's the last people that artists fuck with at times. We get disrespected a lot of times.
Paid the worst.
We get paid the worst, right?
Yes.
So Nicki Minaj had a problem with DJ Self back in the day, right? Now, it was because they tell me that Self was talking about he liked, I believe, Nicki's album or Nicki's record over, he liked Cardi B's record over Nicki's record, which was his opinion.
Yeah.
All right, like, and opinions like assholes. Everybody got one, right? And her reply and her response to this at the time was she was going to send Queens niggas up there to fuck them up, right? Now, the one thing about Nicki is really from Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
She really has niggas from Southside Jamaica, Queens, that when she says jump, they will jump. And they would have beat Self up. And I didn't like that. And I just said, you cannot beat up a DJ for having an opinion. right? And I can't let you beat up a DJ for having an opinion. And if that's the case, I can't play your record until that is squashed. I would hope anybody would do it for me. Like, you just can't say, "Oh, Vlad, you said," and nothing disrespectful. It's not like, you talked about somebody's kids or you did something disrespectful. You just said, "I like this record over this," or "I like this song," or "I like this album."
I like Big Boy Show more than The Breakfast Club.
Correct. Now, because you said that, I can't say, "I'm going to send 20 people up here to beat you up." Right. No, that's your opinion. That is your opinion.
Yes.
And I just didn't like that. And I said I wasn't going to play the record. That was me. Me not playing the record. And that's where it got into, all out of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, she had an interesting statement. She said, remember how cocky DJ Envy was when he said that he blackballs my music on the radio? Ask yourself how DJ Envy can get away with that behavior. Then I remember him selling that busted houses, and I have to laugh. We pray, Envy, one by one, God will show y'all that you are not God.
Yeah, no, I'm not God. I'm nowhere near God. I pray to God every day. And I never said I was going to ban. I just said I'm, as a DJ, not playing her records. That's it. The station plays what they want to play. They still play it. And that was a long time ago. I think that was like 3-4 years ago, I think it was. But I play Nicki Minaj. I think they squashed it out. And I play Nicki records again. I mean, I wish Nicki the best.
Yeah, I mean, Nicki has a history of this type of like unhinged behavior, though. I remember at one point she was threatening DJ Academics. She wanted his address to send like her husband to his house. Remember she got into it with Des Bryant? She offered for Des Bryant to fight her husband. And he was like, yeah, put up the money. I'll stomp him out right in front of you.
Yeah, I think they squashed it out too.
They squashed it too.
But the whole thing is when you go back and forth with people, I'll be honest with you, I don't care. But when it's a DJ, I kind of take a DJ close to heart. You know what I mean? Because like I said, nobody has. Like if you look at my background, when we went to COVID, I raised a couple $100,000 for DJs. Gave all the DJs money to pay.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, to pay their Pampers, their car notes, their crib notes, their electricity, and all that. We raised, I think we raised like $250,000.
I never knew this, man. Thank you. Round of applause, everybody.
And you know who the biggest contributor was? Take a wild guess. It was a DJ.
Funk Flex?
Khaled, I think, gave $50,000.
Okay.
And shout to we did a.
He's probably the richest DJ, so that makes sense. Yeah, good for him.
Richest hip hop DJ, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, richest hip hop DJ.
I would think so. And
is he the richest hip hop DJ? Hold on
so.
a second. Is he? Yeah, I guess he would be. He's the only one in the house on Star Island or whatever else. And
I think Khaled is. Yeah, but so Khaled was one. But even with DJing up, he just did a story with Drink Champs where he was talking about when he had his stroke. He was like, Envy was the one that called and said, "Yo, let's just all throw money in his Cash App so when he wakes up, he'll have some money." But like that's what I try to do. I try to make sure all the DJs are protected and that we're all good. I know it's difficult. I mean, you know as well. Like when you're DJing and you're doing mixtapes and you're hoping that mixtape rings off and you're hoping that you get a club and you got kids. It's like, if we can support each other, let's support each other. Now I know we're competitive. There's nothing wrong with being in competition, but there got to be a line.
Oh, look, man, my DJ era when I was just a strict club and mixtape DJ was probably one of the hardest financial times of my life.
Absolutely.
Not even probably, it was the hardest financial time of my life. What am I kidding? Like, that was the hardest. That was me scraping to make rent every month. And I wasn't on the radio, which makes it even harder because radio DJs get a little bit of a boost because the clubs will book them in that city knowing that they'll shout out the club on the radio and so forth. Yep. Once you lose that radio job, I've seen DJs become homeless.
Yeah.
Or have to just completely quit and go back to teaching or something like that. So
absolutely. Being
a DJ is really like a thankless job.
Yeah.
Until you get to that Khaled, Diplo type level that, Marshmello, whatever else, but that's like 0.001% of DJs.
Correct.
Most DJs are getting a couple $100 to spin and have to, a lot of them live with their moms, a lot of them have 9-to-5 jobs.
They do gig to gig.
They
hope they get the next gig, and they hope that. So when I see a DJ getting shitted on or cursed out or not getting paid, I mean, I'm Captain Save a DJ. I'll try my best to save as many DJs as possible. I will. And all the DJs know if they ever come to me, I try to give them as much advice or whatever I can because I just know how difficult it was, and there was nobody to help me.
Well, you had interviewed Ja Rule, and you brought up the whole situation with the Fyre Fest and Billy McFarland, who I interviewed, by the way. And he said something interesting. He said, I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Envy. Remember when I was here and I asked, and you asked Ja, how could a partner be doing shady stuff? Now you understand. How's that whole situation going?
It's still an active case. Criminally, I'm not criminally charged or even anything to do with it. But civilly, it's still an active case. And what most people don't know is you can sue anybody for anything. Right now, you're wearing blue. And that blue is really bothering me. Like it's really causing something in my mind. So
You
when
gonna
I
sue me
leave
over it?
here, I'm gonna call my attorney. I'm gonna sue you for wearing blue,
You can do that.
and I can do that.
Right.
Now, will it go on? We don't know. After depositions and after years of me trying to sue you, it can go on, and that's all it is. So, like I said, we just have to sit here and wait, and we're being patient.
So you're actually going to cooperate in this case?
There's nothing to cooperate.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've never been asked anything. They went through my phones like everything else, emails and texts. That's it. But there's nothing to cooperate. I had no clue what was going on.
Right, because Cesar Pena said that you're innocent but not a victim. I'm not sure what that means, but just is what it is at this point.
Yeah, that's what he said.
All right. Yeah, I mean, how do you expect this whole thing to end with him?
I don't know. This is the crazy thing. People think that I'm more involved than I am. I'm really not. I'm not charged, so I really don't know. And the reason he said I'm not a victim is we bought a school together. I gave him $500,000 5 years ago. I've never seen a return. I've never seen anything back. So hopefully I can get my money back. But like I said, it's an open case, so can't discuss.
No, man, I feel you. I mean, does it make you feel these days that you don't want to partner with people, that you just got to be very, very careful with who you do business with?
I'll never partner with anybody again in my life.
Nice, you want to have partners. Vlad TV is totally owned by myself.
I'll never
No partners, no loans.
I'll never partner with anything. And that was seminars, so I'll never partner with anybody again in my life.
Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Well, Cardi B, whose album you like better than Nicki Minaj's back in the day, dropped her new album, Am I the Drama, and it went #1.
Yep.
Solid album, too.
I think so. I think her album was dope. I think it was worth the wait. I think Cardi did what she was supposed to do on that album.
What do you think about all the female rappers that she's dissing on? I mean, Bia got it, JT got it, they've been going back and forth. Do you feel that's really necessary at this point in Cardi's career, or do you think that this is just regular Cardi?
Yes, I think it's absolutely positively necessary.
Why is it necessary?
I think we're getting back to the days when, when you remember Jay-Z going at Nas, right? Or you remember any beef that you remember, the best thing about it was in the music. You never seen Jay-Z go online and be like, F Nas. You never seen Nas go online and say F Jay. It was in the music. He dropped Ether. Jay dropped, Takeover. He dropped Super Ugly. And that's what I really respect about what Cardi did. Cardi had a problem with JT. She had a problem with B.I. She put it in the music. Didn't even promote it. Didn't even say, this is my record. She let people find it on the album. And I'm from that school of that's what artists used to do. Oh, you got a problem with him? That's what it is. I mean, DMX. DMX's first single is damn near a diss record.
Pretty much.
Right?
Get at me, dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I think a K-Solo diss
K-Solo,
record,
yeah.
right? So if you really think about it, he put it in the music. That's where I'm from. If you rap and you spit and you got bars, put it in the music. I'm tired of you go online, you're ugly. You go online, you're gay. Or you go online, my house is bigger than your house. Like, I think that's whack. Like, put it in the music, and I respect Cardi for doing it.
Well, I mean, you've commented on this before. Drake lost the battle with Kendrick, but then he sued. So what do you think about that whole defamation lawsuit?
Now, this is something that's crazy because he didn't sue Kendrick. He sued the record label, right?
Correct.
Honestly, I think the whole shit is whack.
I mean, his own record label, actually.
His own record label,
Yeah.
right? And he's saying his own record label did things to boost Kendrick's thing. But I think the whole shit is whack. You're a rapper, right? And I'm a Drake fan. I'm a
Yeah, me
Kendrick
too.
fan too, but I'm a Drake fan, right? I love what Drake's do because I'm a club DJ and I like to play the records in the club, right? And I love when I can play a slow record, a fast record, an Afro beats record. But suing that, I just thought that was a bad move. You didn't have to do it. You're filthy rich. And I think the moves that he's done has made people not like him. You didn't have to sue him. He put out Not Like Us. He beat you. It is what it is. Bounce back, keep going. When Jay and Nas did that beef, and I keep hating to go back to that, people felt like Jay lost when Nas dropped Ether. Jay didn't sue him. Jay just came out with a hit and another hit and another hit to the point where people don't even really talk about it no more. Now they friends and they both don't even perform their records.
I mean, do you think that the public really cares about this lawsuit, though? Because, the album he dropped with Party Next Door, I thought was a solid album. Had some big songs on it.
It did.
When he drops, was this Iceman?
Yep.
Pretty sure it's going to go to #1 and have a bunch of
It's not
big
the
songs
same,
on it.
though.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's the same the way people look at Drake. Like, I think it
People
leaves
or the industry?
both.
Yeah?
I think it's a bad taste in people's mouths when you do something like that. It almost makes you feel like you're a sore loser. You know what I mean? Because during the battle, y'all both threw insults at each other.
Oh yeah, both
Right.
people went below the belt.
Right? Both went below the
Both
belt.
made up lies about the other person.
Correct. So
The fake baby or the baby's not yours. I mean, and so forth. Yeah.
So now when you lose, right? Or when people say you lose, because some people still think Drake won, some people think Kendrick won.
Nobody thought Drake won.
But when you lose,
Nobody thought. Yeah,
there's a lot of Drake stands out there
Doesn't
that think
matter.
Drake did
no
not
one
lose.
realistically. Yes, if
Right.
you have a Twitter account with a picture of Drake in your profile, then
Correct.
yes, you thought Drake won. But to every other hip hop fan out there, casual or serious, it is what it is.
He lost.
Yes.
So when he lost the battle, does that mean he lost in life? No, you take the L and you
No.
keep it moving. You're still the biggest artist, hip hop artist.
Is he bigger than Kendrick right now? Let's compare the streams.
I think so.
Let's compare the streams.
I think he is.
Let's see.
I think he is.
Drake, rounded up 82 million monthly listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick, 73. Pretty close.
Very close.
If you count the Apple numbers, it might be neck and neck
Correct.
because we don't know the Apple numbers. So I don't know if you can really say he's a bigger artist than Kendrick right
What
now.
I say that is they're both two different type of artists, two different styles of music, right? I was just recently in Greece.
Yeah.
I've heard Drake records in Greece.
But not Kendrick.
I didn't hear Kendrick records in Greece.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? When I'm in the club, I'll hear a Kendrick record. I mean, I'll hear a Drake record faster than I hear
But
Kendrick records.
Kendrick doesn't really make club records.
He doesn't.
Not like us. Is sort of the first club record he made, kinda, sort of, because it is.
No, he does make club records. He makes festival records. What's the record with MC8? Rah rah rah. He makes records that are big in festivals. But Drake is more of an international artist. I would say that he has records with Bad Bunny. Like he has
Yeah.
records that cross over.
Well, speaking of Bad Bunny,
Mm-hmm.
it was just announced that he's doing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a little bit of an issue on this.
Wow.
Let me pull up my tweet that has since gone viral. This is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Bad Bunny headlined the Super Bowl is strange to me. I'm glad he's getting such a large opportunity, but none of his songs are in English, and I don't speak Spanish. Most of the audience of the Super Bowl won't speak Spanish. Only 14% of Americans speak Spanish, so most of the television audience won't understand his songs either. I can see him doing a major event like the World Cup, where there's a massive Spanish audience, but the Super Bowl doesn't make sense. It seems like the NFL is trying to expand its Latino audience at the expense of its existing fans. Do you speak Spanish?
I do not speak Spanish. I'm not Spanish. Most people think I am. I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not Spanish. No.
Right?
not at all.
You're black and white, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm all black.
All black?
Yeah, all black.
Oh, okay. My
100%.
bad. My bad. Thought you were mixed. Easy mistake there. All right? I have kids darker than you. I'm just saying. But you don't speak Spanish.
I don't.
What's your favorite Bad Bunny song?
The one with Drake. MIA.
Okay. What's your favorite Bad Bunny song that's all in Spanish?
I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
But when I'm in a club and somebody asks me, I Google it and I play it.
Okay,
but the
because
reason
that's
I'm
your
saying
job.
is-
You're
Not-
forced to do it in a way.
But you just looked up Drake and you just looked up Kendrick's numbers. Look up Bad Bunny's numbers.
I know what's about to happen here, but okay. Well, let's do this. I know what's about to happen. Drake was what? Was it 83?
83. Kendrick was 72.
77.
77.
Right there, kind of.
Right there, right in between.
Right there.
To be honest, what Bad Bunny is doing for his culture and how big he is and the fact that he can perform and is a great performer, you got to give him that opportunity. The NFL is not just America anymore. They play games international now, and they play games international now to get the international artists.
I
So
get
if an
it.
artist that is Bad Bunny that was born in the U.S., right? He was born in the U.S., right?
Well, is Puerto Rico considered
yes.
the U.S.?
Puerto Rico is considered the U.S.,
He was
right?
born in
Well, he is.
It was not a U.S. state.
It's not a U.S. state,
It's
but
a territory.
It's considered a territory of the United States. So the fact that he is that popular, and we're talking about music and what music does and how music transcends, he should be given that spot.
I just disagree because, look, I actually looked it up. They said about a third of the audience is overseas with the NFL, but only about 10% of those are Spanish speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a relatively low percentage of people that can understand the songs. My thing is that when I look at music as a whole, and my name is DJ Vlad, right? I am a music guy just like you. My whole life has been music. Vlad TV is based in hip hop. I can't think of an artist that I really love or songs that I really love and play that I can't understand the lyrics.
Reggae
Because
music.
to me, the lyrics are a big part of the song.
You understand all reggae music?
Yes, most of it. Most of it.
Most people don't.
I do.
They just love the
My
rhythm.
patois is actually pretty good.
And they just love the feeling, right? Most people, when they go on vacation or
But it
you ever
is
see people,
English to a certain degree.
It's still patois. Most people don't understand.
It's patois English, but you can understand some of the words. And you can, even if you don't speak any patois, you could kind of get it.
And same thing with Spanish music. You go to a club, I ain't even gotta say international club, but a club that's a crossover club, they play Spanish music. And you don't know what the fuck they saying. Suavemente is the only word I know. Suavemente, but I hear every time I go to Bodega, Poppy plays it. But there's nothing wrong with Bad Bunny, who's one of the biggest celebrities and biggest artists out right now performing at the Super Bowl. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. His music transcends. He's one of the biggest artists. Outside of like,
but it's a American English speaking event, and my whole thing is a performance. Now I can understand, like, because he did already perform at the Super Bowl during Shakira's set or something, right?
Yeah, I think
so.
And
the J-Lo Shakira set. So I'm cool with some Spanish being thrown in and so forth, but this is an event that's primarily American English speaking. I understand. Look,
there's Spanish players that play in the NFL.
I understand
so those players
that,
need to be represented as well.
But they all speak English.
It doesn't matter. But they still listen to Spanish music. Still represents who they are.
I would almost
still represents their country or their territory.
I would almost
as you would
expect
say,
that more like a baseball game, where it really is a very Spanish-rooted game as well. Like I said, like if he performed at the World Cup, I'd be like, oh, obvious choice, Bad Bunny at the World Cup. But I don't know, man.
I disagree.
I said what I said.
I think the Super Bowl, when they pick artists, they pick the biggest artists to perform there, right? And last year, people were mad Kendrick, but he was the biggest artist at the time for our culture.
I wasn't mad at Kendrick. I thought that was a great choice.
They asked Taylor Swift, they asked Adele. Allegedly, they both said no.
Okay.
I don't see nothing wrong with Bad Bunny. He puts on amazing performance. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
They should have had Drake.
He's one of the biggest artists.
They should have had Drake.
Didn't Drake turn it down a couple of years? And I don't think Drake would do it after Kendrick. Not that.
Why not?
I don't think he would. Didn't Drake just do the World Cup, or he's about to do the World Cup or something like that? That's what they say allegedly? I don't know.
Allegedly?
I don't know.
That makes sense as well. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still going to say what I say. I just feel like it's pandering away from the core audience. And I understand why they're doing it, because they are trying to expand. But, like, for example, there's huge K-pop artists. Do you want to see a K-pop group perform at the Super Bowl?
No.
I
don't know any K-pop
Korean
artists. But that's like saying
it's the same thing.
But that's like having Kendrick there, right? 60% of the NFL's people that's in that building is probably what, white? I would say.
Okay.
70% maybe white. They probably didn't know half of Kendrick's songs on there, right? They probably only knew one, maybe. Does that mean we not have Kendrick perform? Because the people that's there don't know the music, or do we get the biggest artists to satisfy the people that are watching? Because most people didn't know Kendrick's records.
Right.
So because most people don't know Bad Bunny, what's the difference?
The difference is that even if you're not a Kendrick fan, you could experience his music.
You can experience a Bad Bunny show.
You can experience his music, and you could
world.
listen to it and understand the words and understand the meaning at that moment and take it in a whole lot easier than a person speaking a language you do not understand at all.
It's not the same.
You're feeling the vibe, but you're not actually feeling the lyrics and the meaning and everything else like that. And listen, if it was an instrumental artist, if it was Kenny G, I wouldn't care, right? But I'm saying this is someone who's a vocalist, who's a lyricist, who I'm sure has a lot of care and thought into his lyrics.
My wife is part Jamaican, right?
Okay.
When she takes me to a boshment, I don't know what the fuck they're saying. No clue. But when she's dancing on me, I'm just enjoying the rhythm. And I can maybe sing the hook, but it doesn't matter because music gives me that feeling.
Okay.
And when he's performing, and he's gonna put on a hell of a show. It's not gonna be one of those shows where it's just him standing with a mic performing. He's gonna put on a hell of a show. Like, he's a showman. I guarantee you it'll be one of the best halftime performances in a while. He's gonna put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the feeling, it's gonna be the rhythm, it's gonna be how it makes you feel, how it makes you move. It's gonna be the dances out there. He's gonna put on a hell of a show. He's gonna make you believe. I'm gonna call you after and be like, you see? Or you're gonna be calling me that night and be like, Envy, I told your ass, but one or the other.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if the NFL switched gears and before the actual show and possibly put like a different artist on. I wouldn't be totally surprised. I think there might be some backlash over this.
I don't think so. But what he might do is, I think his special surprises and performances that come out with him, I think is going to be people that people know. Like, think about it. He got a record with Cardi B. I like it like that. He got a record with Drake, MIA.
You think Drake's going to show up at the Super Bowl to do a guest appearance? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But
Cardi might.
Cardi might. Yeah. Well, speaking of Drake, when Charlamagne was here last time, which was, I don't know, about a month or so ago, he was talking about like the beef that he had with Drake. He said at one point he approached you and Angela Yee and was like, "Where's the third musketeer?"
Yes,
So that actually happened.
absolutely.
So describe this conversation.
This was a welcome to Houston party for the Breakfast Club. We were just syndicated in Houston. Huge venue. So, Charlamagne didn't come. Smart. It was me and Angela Yee there. And I remember Sierra was there, Future was there. And all of a sudden, I just started seeing all these huge security guards wearing all black coming to the section. And it was Drake. It might have been about maybe 15 guards, 20 guards.
Damn.
Yeah. And like he said, came up to me and said, "Where's the third musketeer?" And I was like, he didn't come. But yeah, I'm sure they probably was going to drag Charlamagne around that club that night if he was there. They weren't coming to have a conversation.
Did you ever hear my whole thing that I got into it with Drake?
No.
So we were in New Orleans for All-Star Weekend, 2013, I think, maybe 2014, right around that time. And shortly before then, there was a Beats by Dre party, and Drake was walking by me, and I'm like, "Yo, what up, Drake? Vlad from Vlad TV." And he was like, "Oh, man, stop talking shit about me." And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, "Yo, we love you over here," right? I just kind of laughed it off. So then we ran into each other again. We were at the Jordan party. I went up to, "Hey, what's up, Vlad?" "Oh, yeah, I'm trying to interview you." "Oh, yeah, talk to my manager." The manager was a little kind of standoffish with me, but I'm like, whatever. And then at one point, we were all on stage together. He was a little bit to the side. Chubbs was on stage. So me and Chubbs are talking. Because I'm thinking like we have literally hundreds of articles praising Drake, right? And me and Chubbs are talking. We exchange numbers. And then I'm over to the side with my security, this Navy SEAL dude, but he's sort of standing down a little bit, so it looks like I'm by myself. So Chubbs walks up to me, and he gets in my face, and he was like, "Yo, man, what's up with all that shit you talking about my man Drake?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I never said shit about Drake." "No, you did. I said, "I've had guests that have talked about Drake." "Like who?" "Like Charlamagne." "Well, that's on you too." And I'm like, okay. So I kind of motioned to my security. He's like, yeah, bring your people. And it was starting to like kind of, and then a bunch of the Dream Chaser dudes were around, because Meek was there too. And that's back when they were cool. So they kind of started to gather around. So my security gets up, he kind of gets in Chubb's face, was like, "What's the problem?" And, Chubb starts like talking shit. And I'm like, we got to go. Mm-hmm. And my security goes, "No, I want to go back in front of him." I'm like, "You're crazy. Like, why?" Mm-hmm. Like, we walked away safely. But it was those types of weird situations where it was like, this could have been a serious assault situation because there was a whole bunch of them. There was just two of us. And I think my security had a weapon. Mm-hmm. So it could have turned into a shooting. It could have turned into whatever over someone talking badly about you, over criticizing you. Like, why do you think Drake is so sensitive?
Let's be honest. If we're going to be honest, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you have an artist, and that artist is your bread and butter, and your artist is going like this, and if somebody's a thorn in that artist's side, making fun of them, changing the way that artist looks, they want to stop that immediately, right? Most people will do whatever they can to stop that because you don't want the effect of somebody hurting. Ja Rule's a perfect example. When Ja Rule came out, everybody loved Ja, right? 50 made Ja Rule look a different way, which made the public and people look at him a different way, which hurt Ja. It hurt Ja.
Well,
What?
Let me interrupt you.
What?
I don't think it was as much of 50 making everyone look different at Ja. I think 50 got in Ja's head and made him think he should stop doing the music that made Ja Rule popular.
No, because Ja Rule still made that type of music.
No,
but I think
he started doing like Clap Back,
But
New
people-
York,
right.
Bunch of hard records.
Those are both great records.
Those were cool records, but
Those
they
both good
weren't like
records.
always on time.
But when Ja tried to put out that record, whether it was the record with Bobby Brown or it was a couple of records after it, the public didn't receive it well. G-Unit and 50 Cent changed the look how the public viewed Ja. They did, hands down. Like, hands down. And I think the problem with Drake is they try to make sure that the public didn't change on Drake. That's what I think what really happened. And I think they were trying to defend their man. Just like if I have an artist and he's going here and there's a thorn on his side and I see that thorn, I'm going to approach that thorn. Because you don't want that artist, you don't want anything distracting that artist and where that artist is going. Now, with the public and the media, we have the right to say whatever we want to say. But they have the right to say what they want to have to say as well. But if you really think about it, you don't want to change the public's perception of how that artist is being viewed. Because once it changes, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah, but you know how you could change it? Go do an interview on The Breakfast Club and put that person on your side. At one point, didn't like Drake send him like some champagne and be like, let's be friends or something? They have this up and down kind of relationship.
Charlamagne even went to one of his shows, so I don't know where that relationship went, or, you know, if it went up or down or left or right. But you would understand why Drake's people are going at anybody that's going at him, because that's their bread and butter. They need to see Drake go one way, and when people start changing that look, they want to stop it.
You know, I'm sure that Chubbs got the word from Drake to approach me in one way or another. But it's a reckless move.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who I was with.
That's true.
And you don't know how many weapons are in this club.
That's true.
And when you could think this person's a pushover, but as you know, everyone at certain levels, they didn't get there by being pushovers.
Correct.
Right? And the people you think are the softest or the easiest targets, those end up being the ones that end up with a bloody mess on your hands.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Drake was off that bullshit at this point.
I think he should be. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, it makes Drake is making so much money. There's no reason why he should let anybody ever bother him or get the way he feels. Like
he's suing Universal right now.
That's his own label, and they say there's other reasons for it. He's trying to renegotiate against him. I don't know, but I thought that lawsuit was corny. I said that before.
Well, speaking of beef, I recently found out that you were the first New York DJ to play Tupac's "Hit 'Em Up."
Facts.
So you got the record first?
Yes.
Directly from Death Row?
No.
From where?
I don't think I ever told the story. I can tell it now.
Okay.
So I used to do mixtapes in my mother's house,
okay,
right, in Queens. And that was a place where everybody has been there before, whether it was Fat Joe, Beanie Siegel, Freeway, Fabulous, Joe Budden, you name it, they've been there and recorded in my house. And I used to do mixtapes at night, and we used to pretty much beg for records, right? Because most of the times, I think you know, like, we would be the last to get a record, right? They would give it to Clue first, so we had to do whatever we had to do to get those records first. And Sha Money. You know who Sha Money is?
I know exactly who Sha Money is.
One of the producers for 50's first album.
Not a fan of him.
The architect of the mixtape.
I don't.
Not a fan of Sha South?
Sha Money?
Sha Money?
No, fuck Sha Money.
Damn. All right, well,
Sha Money, let me just explain why I'm saying that. I've always been cool with Sha Money, and on multiple occasions, he went and talked a bunch of shit about me for no fucking reason. I've been in his home, the whole nine, and out of nowhere, Sha would just talk shit about me randomly on social media, and I believe in interviews as well. So honestly, fuck him too.
Damn, I never really see Sha do interviews. But anyway, so Sha Money. We're all from the same area, Queens Village.
Yeah.
Shadyville. He was in the studio one day and he came with the record. He says, yo, Envy, I got this Tupac record. And it must have been a day after Pac recorded it. And I don't even know how Sha got it. It said, here. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh my gosh. He said, just know that when you play this record, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna start a shitstorm. And I sat there, I would say I sat there for about 2 or 3 days before I released that mixtape.
Okay, so was the record being played on the West Coast?
Nobody had the record. I was the first person to play that record.
Oh, you mean in the world?
In the world.
Yo, I just figured in New York.
The first person to play the record in the world. Came off a DJ Envy mixtape.
So you put on a mixtape, not on the radio, because were you on the radio at that point?
Mixtape.
Right. You put on a mixtape, drop it off of Canal Street in Jamaica, Queens, and Brooklyn and so
Beach
forth.
Street,
Beach
Jamaica
Street
Avenue,
Records.
Bronx, Canal, yep.
All that. What happens next?
The mixtape started selling like no other. We couldn't dub enough tapes in time.
Huh.
And everybody was mad. Like, why would he play it? Why did he play that record? The reason I did it, it was like, it's music. You can't stop music. If I don't play it, somebody else is going to play it. And it just took off. And it was just one of those ones. It was probably one of my biggest mixtapes ever. That and the Rockefeller mixtape. But that's how I got the record, and I mean, it was crazy.
Well, at the time you played it, Big E was alive.
Yes.
And living in New York. Lil' Kim was alive, living in New York. Mobb Deep was alive. You know, both members, of course, living in New York. Who else gets dissed on it? Jay-Z. These are people that you were associating with?
I was cool with none of them.
None of them.
Remember, this was my grind in the industry, so I didn't have any industry people.
Oh, so you didn't care?
I didn't. No, I really didn't even have a face in the industry. They didn't. Nobody gave me records, so it wasn't like these were my people, these were my friends, these were my whatever. And I think that record came out in what, 94, 95?
Yeah, right before he died. 90. Hold on, let's look it up. June 4th, 1996.
1996, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have any connects in the industry at the time. The only person I knew at the time was probably Clue.
Huh.
So there was nobody, whatever. And this was the best thing. You got to think, when I played the record, where did I go after it? Went right back to college in Virginia. So nobody even see me.
Oh.
So
you ducked out.
Yeah, and I even remember Biggie was on tour.
Okay.
And there was always a rumor that Biggie was on campus looking for you, Envy. And I just stayed away.
And then by the time he came back, everyone was playing it, so it's whatever.
Everybody was playing it already, and it didn't matter. DJs were playing in clubs. It just, when you're the first, everybody's mad at you at first, but then after a couple of months, nobody even cares anymore.
Yeah, I'm actually good friends with Edie of the Outlaws. I remember he mentioned to me a while back that he is the only living person from that song.
That's crazy.
Including the producer.
Wow. That's crazy.
Tupac's dead. Johnny J.
Johnny J.
He died. I think he hung himself in a jail cell.
Dang.
Fatal.
Fatal just recently.
He's dead. He died in a car crash. Of course, Tupac. We know how he died. So Edie's the last person. Edie had a heart attack not too long ago also.
That's crazy.
So, we're not that old, man. We're like in our 50s.
Yeah.
Like, we're not supposed to be passing away in our 20s, 30s, 40s.
Not at all. Nowhere near.
Yeah. I mean, as a DJ, where would you rank Hit 'Em Up in the all-time diss records? Would you give it number one still?
Yeah. I think Hit 'Em Up is number one.
I agree.
I think it's the most disrespectful. I think it's the one that just doesn't go away. And man shot a video for it. I just think it's in my opinion, Hit 'Em Up is number one. Number two is Not Like Us.
Number three?
The feeling and everything, Ether.
You wouldn't say No Vaseline? This is where the East-West Coast bias starts to kind of creep in, I feel.
Nah, because I didn't gave to the West Coast. But the thing with
That's true,
Ether,
yeah.
I just remember when Ether dropped and just the feeling of Ether.
Huh.
And I think that was the first time people felt like Jay-Z's cage was rattled a little bit. And it was just more of a shocking type of thing. And Nas was the underdog. He wasn't supposed to come out with that record. And when it hit, it was just like crazy. And of course, it premiered on the K-Slate tape. So it was just something different.
Yeah, it took forever for it to come out, right? Well, how many months passed between, was it Takeover?
Yeah,
Takeover was the
Takeover.
first record from
Yep,
Jay,
Takeover.
and then Ether was the response?
Asshole. If you don't want to know, ho, Nas, ho. Yeah, that one, yep.
Yeah, and then Super
That's
Ugly
Nas.
came
You
out
don't wanna Ho,
afterwards.
yeah. And then Super Ugly came after
But
it.
no
yeah.
one cared about Super Ugly. Even though I thought it was a cool record.
Though Super Ugly was dope.
Yeah. Yeah? I mean, how do you feel that, your Queens homie Nas got his casino now?
I love it. I love it. I love the stuff that Nas is doing and how Nas is transformed from a kid from the projects, Queensbridge,
Yeah.
and what he's been able to do in tech and his investments in I think Ring, I think maybe even Uber and now this. He's been able to do a lot of things, and Nas still looks fly doing it. So I love what Nas is doing.
Yeah. And I guess they mentioned Jay-Z. They're sorry, Jay.
And I thought that was corny.
But-
It's totally two different things. It's not the same people
I think that's what
approving it.
people got confused with because Jay got his casino turned down, but that was a Times Square Manhattan casino.
Right.
Nas,
But it's not even the same people approving it.
Right.
It's like the Queensboro presidents in Queens.
Exactly.
And Manhattan over here. It's not even the same
Yeah.
thing. One is an expansion to what they have in Queens already. This was an actual, it's not even connected.
Right, but
But
they-
I would have loved to see both of them win their casinos
Right.
and both do well, but I just hate the fact that they try to connect it and keep it like that. Like both of them brothers are cool. One's worth over $1 billion. One is probably, I'm sure, close to $1 billion. It's just so stupid. But Queens do get the money though, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but I feel like they made it sound like, oh, we turned down Jay
To give
we
it to
gave it to
Nas.
you instead, when it's two separate projects.
Two separate projects. Yeah, it don't even make sense.
So last year, you felt that Diddy should be let out on bond.
Correct.
Okay. You still feel the same way?
Yes.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah. The funny thing is when I said it last year, I went viral. People saying, "Oh, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other." And What I hate about people is a lot of times people don't read. They don't read the facts. They don't read the court documents. They don't read what's going on. All they see is what the press is saying. Diddy, what he got convicted of was pretty much prostitution, hiring prostitutes, right?
Right.
That's pretty much what he said.
Male prostitutes at that.
Right, male prostitutes at that, right? And what I say, if anybody in any case has ever hired a prostitute, even if they brought the prostitute over state lines, they would get a fine, a slap in the wrist, and a misdemeanor. What is the difference between Diddy and them? Because that's all he was found guilty of. He wasn't found guilty of the RICO. We're not talking about domestic violence.
Yeah, sex
We're not
trafficking,
talking about
dismissed.
anything else.
Yeah.
We're just talking about he got found guilty of hiring a prostitute and traveling over state lines, right? That's it. Why is he in jail that long? Because if this would have been anybody else, they'd have been out with a fine. And I think what they're doing is they're just trying to really embarrass that brother. And it is what it is. Now, I'm not saying the stuff that he's doing is right, but what he was found guilty of, I think he should have been released.
I called it. I was on the red carpet for the Hollywood Unlocked Awards. Shirley Jew was interviewing me. And she's like, what do you think will happen? I said, he's going to beat the RICO. He's going to beat the sex trafficking. He's going to get found guilty, prostitution, maybe get a slap on the wrist. Mm-hmm. She's like, Vlad, no, why are you saying that? I'm like, this is the reality of the legal system. Diddy does not run a RICO.
No.
It is not the mafia. It's not the mob. It's not some big scam operation that's skimming money in exchange for shipping 10-year-old girls and so forth. And that, he has this legitimate business. He likes to spend his money jacking off while dudes are banging his girl. That's pretty much it.
That's right.
His lawyer said this is the only man in America who's in jail for hiring male prostitutes right now.
Truth.
What's your relationship with Diddy?
I don't really have a relationship with Diddy.
No? Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed him before.
He's been to the Breakfast Club before a long time ago. He did a Ciroc program with DJs. But outside of that, I don't go to his house on holidays. I don't go to his house on parties. I don't call it Christmas or Father's Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just see what's wrong and what's right, regardless of who that person is.
How much time do you think he'll get?
I think time served.
Really? So no jail time at all?
I think he'll do time served.
Here's the problem, right? Because Judge Mathis was on my show. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I are just bootleg lawyers.
Correct.
This is an actual state judge, right? So he knows more than all of us. He said the problem with the sentencing is going to go down to all the stuff that the judge saw on the stand. Now, yes, he beat all the charges, but Diddy could get 20 years, 10 years for each prostitution charge.
Correct.
And the judge has the discretion to say, yeah, these charges are no big deal, but all the beatings and the blowing up of the cars and the attacking of women and so forth, to me, is heinous enough to give him a maximum sentence. And since it's at the judge's discretion, there's nothing they could do to appeal that. Because you and I have been through the legal system. Mm-hmm. Discretion, when it comes to a judge, is a motherfucker. It really all comes down to the judges. Yes, you have a jury sometimes, but the jury doesn't decide the sentencing.
Right.
The judge does. So that person is damn near God when it comes to your future. So the beating of Cassie, the videotape, and look, Diddy was a domestic abuser, right? Roger Bond's been on my show multiple times. He's let me listen to audio recordings of other people that were describing the situation. You and I could agree Diddy beat a lot of women, right?
Only one I seen was Cassie.
Only one I seen. Listen, Roger was there when what's the name of his first his other baby mother? Kim Porter got her nose broken by him.
But this is the thing, right?
One of my ex-employees was there when he threw a laptop as hard as he could at one of his assistants.
When these people say this and they do interviews about this, does it ever make you feel a way that, why didn't you say something back then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have sisters, we have mothers, we have daughters, we have wives, we have grandmothers, we have women in our lives. So why do you say something now and not when the actual incident ever happened? And if you don't want to do it because you don't want to lose your job, why not make a phone call and be like, yo, this is what's going on? I couldn't stand here. There's one of the women that work here, right? Vlad, if you punched in the face, I couldn't just sit here and be like, all right, well, Vlad, I'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
That's just not in my character. I don't care how much you were paying me. And you're not paying me, but I don't care how much you're paying me. It's just certain morals and values that we have to have. You know what I mean? So when I hear all these stories, it's like, whatever. because you had an opportunity to possibly, if you seen it with Kim, if we'd have stopped it during Kim, it might not have never happened to Cassie. It might not never happen to the next person. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, yeah, we all right, whatever.
Well, look, my former employee who saw it, what are you going to say? I saw Diddy throw a laptop at another employee and he missed it. He missed her, so I'm going to report that. There's nothing really to report in a situation like that. He did ultimately leave. He no longer worked for him. And you and I are speaking from a certain financial level that other people don't have. Yeah, you could call the police on me for punching my female employee and you go back to your, 6-7-figure job, whatever, you're fine. But for example, I asked Roger Bonds that exact same question. It's like, look, I'm out of prison over a murder that I did, right? I got no other options. This guy is giving me the only job I could realistically get at the type of money and also all the perks and the travel and the access and so forth. If I say something, he's going to instantly fire me like I've seen him fire everybody else. He's got a kid. He's got to support himself.
I get it.
I'm not saying what he did was the right thing, but you can kind of understand it to a certain degree, right? You have to say, okay, I can see why a lot of people just remain silent because, man, people don't give up these types of jobs. It's not like I quit Walmart because I see my manager slap my assistant manager. These types of jobs, once you lose it, and then you feel like, oh no, Diddy's going to start calling people, tell them not to hire, oh yeah,
No, I get it.
It's a thing. Like blackballing,
I get it wholeheartedly.
Is a thing. It's not a total thing in the music industry, but it is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it wholeheartedly, but I couldn't stand there and watch a woman get punched in the face because the first thing I would think is,
I feel you.
I think that would be my mom's. I think that would be my daughter. I think that
agree.
would be my
I couldn't
wife.
do it
You know
either.
what I'm saying? I just couldn't.
I couldn't do it either. But if I'm fresh out of prison, and this is my only source of income. There is no plan B. I'd have to seriously think about it. I think most humans in my position might actually be quiet.
No, I get it. And I'm not talking about Roger Bonds. There's a lot of people that have popped out and said, I've seen this, I've seen that.
After the fact.
I just don't know if I respect it as much when you should have said it a long time ago. Don't talk about it now when the man is deep in trouble right now, you know what I mean? But that's just how I feel on shit.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that once Diddy gets out, he'll get back to like doing shows, being loved and so forth? Or do you think at this point, Diddy has to fade off into darkness?
No. I think Diddy will, after a couple of years. One thing about our community and our culture, we forgive fast. like it is. Like, you know what I mean? Once something happens, people are forgiven and then they get right back to what they're doing. It's gonna take a little time, and I don't think Diddy I don't think Diddy would want to. I think the first thing he gonna do when he get home is he wants to spend time with his family. I mean, think about it. He missed his daughter's graduation. You know, I'm not sure if they go to college, but he missed his daughter's packing. His daughter's going to school. He missed his son's stuff. He missed the baby stuff. I'm sure he didn't see the baby walk. So I think he has a lot of things to focus on first. But I think if Diddy comes back with I want to change and I want to be different, I think our community will forgive him and you'll see Diddy back to where he wants to be.
See, I actually disagree with you.
Why?
I think the first thing Diddy's going to do is have another freak off.
You think so?
I know so.
You think so?
I know so.
I don't think so.
How do I know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I know. I interviewed Don the Dealer. I interviewed like 5 male escorts. Don the Dealer was the one that was with him, and I mean he started with him and Cassie, but then he started doing him and Daphne Joy. In fact, Daphne Joy's first threesome, well, not really a threesome, freak off, I guess, because Diddy wasn't really doing stuff with her, was with this guy Don. And after Diddy's homes were raided, and he knew that there was a grand jury and so forth, they were still having freak offs with him and others.
Yeah.
They just raided your home. You know there's a grand jury. You know it. We all know how grand juries work. Once the grand jury starts, you're getting arrested at some point.
Right.
It's easy to get a grand jury indictment.
Right.
It's a one-sided argument that can last for months. Oh, let's bring some more evidence. Oh, that's not enough. Okay, give us another week. Diddy's lawyers aren't present at grand juries. It's a one-sided argument to a group of people that say, okay, yeah, that's enough.
If Diddy was smart, he would chill with the family, but I think he'll move differently with them freak-offs.
How do you move differently at this point? I mean, like,
you can't hire people. You can't pay people.
You can't, I mean...
Because the freak-offs illegal?
No.
They're not. It's the fact.
But he's being, technically they are if you're hiring a prostitute.
If he's not hiring, but if he goes to I don't even know where they go. Where they go, a nudist beach and find
Swinger
somebody?
clubs.
They go to a swinger club? Like, it's not illegal to have somebody's man come on you. That's not illegal, is it?
No.
He's just into it. Now, because you're not into that and I'm not into that, that's his own thing. He go to a swinger club, he can live all day, he can enjoy himself there.
Well, he was supposed to go to a swinger club this one time. One of the male escorts was talking about that. And he was going to be camouflaged and have masks. But he's like, oh, no, I think they're going to recognize me here. So they end up not going. I mean, look, it's... And I've said this multiple times, and people like to get on me. I kind of feel like Cassie is a villain in this whole story.
You said a villain. What do you think? She's like the mastermind behind the scenes setting things up?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, a few reasons. Number one, every single male escort that I interviewed, and there was 5 of them,
Right.
they all said Cassie was a willing participant. She would pick them. She would initiate it. She would ask for certain things. Like one of the guys, she asked the guy to pee on her. Her idea. She would run into the guys in the street and then have, call them right after and say, hey, we're close by. Come do another freak off with us. I think she was genuinely enjoying it.
What do you think changed?
Well, what I think really changed... Okay, look, so, we talked to a lot of people off the record. So
Right.
there's certain names I can't mention.
Okay.
But I could tell you that someone I know that was hanging out with Cassie one day, I gave him a ride back because they were doing something together. He said the whole time she was like, hey, convince your friend Sean to marry me. I want to be married. I want to have a baby. I don't want to keep being his girlfriend. I think what Cassie really wanted is to be a wife and or have a baby. And Diddy never gave that to her. I think he just kept her as not really a side chick, but like a freak chick.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately the relationship ended and she went into poverty essentially, right? She moved back in with her new husband into her parents' house. He's a personal trainer. There was no money. No more first-class trips. I've run into Cassie in New York before. She would have like the hot new Rolex on. She would have the Van Cleef and, the diamond necklace and the Jimmy Choo shoes. Like she was fresh all the time. All that went away. Cassie's never had a job in her life. Let's just keep it 100. So the money runs out. Diddy's still doing well. Now he's, having babies with someone else. Carisha got a successful show, something she's never had. All the chances, all the studio time, she has songs with Nicki Minaj. She still didn't blow. She saw that and she was like, yo, I'm going to take him for everything he got. She threatened to sue. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't settle. When she did file a lawsuit, he coughed up $20 million. Then she got another $10 million from the Intercontinental. That's $30 million up. Because it's a assault case, it's tax-free.
Tax-free, yeah. Lawsuit.
$30 million cash. Mm-hmm. I don't have $30 million cash. I don't think you have $30 million cash. This is a lot of fucking money. I don't think people realize how much. This is like 4 generations of wealth. Easy. Easy. After all this, you take the money, then you take the stand against him. She could have had a very different, conversation on that stand. Mm-hmm. She could have been like, well, yeah, there was some violence, but, I hit him sometimes also. We were both taking drugs, so we were just beating on each other. And, yeah, I liked the freak offs, and sometimes I didn't, but, I loved him. So, the Daphne Joy on the stand was very different than Cassie on the stand. So you trash him on the stand. Diddy's name is synonymous with being gay right now. No Diddy is the new no homo.
Right.
In the process, I remember Don the dealer said that, he overheard Diddy, this was, when they were doing the freak offs with Daphne, he'd be like, yo, I just lost this deal. I'm down $100 million and no one wants to work with me. So this man lost hundreds of millions of dollars. He got locked up. Everyone calls him gay now. Mm-hmm. After all this, he gets convicted and she writes a letter to the judge not to let him out. Mm-hmm. Does that seem like a happy person to you?
No. Not at all.
Does that seem like someone that says, look, I've had lawsuits before. When I've won, that's it. I'm done. Okay, whatever. The scales have been balanced. Okay, you did this. I got a check. We're good.
So you think this is revenge off of Diddy not marrying her, or having a child.
I just think she's bitter and angry, and no amount of money will make that, will make her happy. She got 2 kids, she got a husband, she got $30 million, and she still writes a letter to the judge. She wants him dead. She wants him dead and brutally murdered in the process, and she wants to see it. Maybe at that point she might be okay. That's why I'm just saying she's the villain.
Or,
let's go.
I love everything that you said.
Okay.
Or, she has a new husband. She told her husband things didn't happen the way that it really happened. I can't look crazy for my new husband and my new family and my mom and my dad. It has to sound this way so I don't look this way. I have to go all the way in, because if not, I look this way. So I have to bet and go all the way to the end of it, so when they look at me, it looks like I didn't do this because I wanted to. I did that because I was forced to. I did that because I wanted a career. I did that because I was scared. I did that because of this.
Okay. I hate the whole, because some of the, I've had arguments with people.
And I'm just saying, I don't know which way it is. Listen, I try to look at every angle of everything, right? Because I'm with you. I get $30 million. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm not going on nobody's stand.
I'm not going on no one's stand. I'm not writing nobody letter. I'm going to be on a cruise somewhere. You can't reach me.
I'm gone.
Oh, well.
Right?
Oh, well, I got my $30 million.
But there has to be a reason why you keep going.
I think it's hatred. Man.
Maybe.
That's what I think. And look, at the end of the day, there's the whole, in the lawsuit it was laid out. It's like, he dangled my career in front of me and made me do things. Cassie's not talented. Like, you and I are music people. Was there a bidding war with Cassie after she left Bad Boy? Even SoundCloud didn't want her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a good singer. She's not a good performer. You could say, okay, Britney Spears can't sing well, but she's a great performer. Mm-hmm. Cassie's not a great performer. She's a pretty girl who was sleeping with a boss and got a lot of chances that everyone else wouldn't have gotten. Mm-hmm. She had features with Kid Cudi, Ghostface, Nicki Minaj. She had every look you could possibly. She was at the Met Gala. She was here, there, everything.
She wasn't a great artist.
No. And at one point, look, I remember realistically, and I've said this story a couple of times, I saw Kid Capri DJ, and I said, I don't think I'll ever be that good on the mic. Like, he's just really phenomenal at the mic. I'm just yelling and, doing my best here. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started kind of rethinking my whole DJ thing. I'm like, all right, there are people that are just sort of better at certain things than me. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying, maybe this is not the path I want to be on if I want to have worldwide excellence. Mm-hmm. You got to be honest with yourself, right? I remember in the comments I announced, me and DJ Envy are about to have an interview. What'd she ask him? Ask him if he's a better DJ than you. I'm like, I'll answer that right now. He's a better DJ than me. I don't DJ anymore. But even in my heyday, I'm sure you were still better. That's okay. My mixtapes won awards and so forth. I was a little better on that side of things. I was probably a little better on the blend side than you and so forth. But live DJing, you're better than me, and that's cool. I think a lot of people just aren't honest with themselves.
I think so. Though. I can see where you come from with that. But see, with the Cassie, there's so many variables, right? And the reason I say there's so many variables is what you say absolutely positively makes sense, right? You get $30 million, who cares? I don't need to write a letter. I don't need to go on stand. I don't have to say anything, right? But when somebody goes that far out, there has to be a reason, right? And it could be vengeful. Or it all could be, I'm saving my home because I don't want to look crazy at home as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I hope at one point she finds a level of peace where she's not mad at this guy anymore. Clearly, $30 million didn't do that.
It should be there now. She has a family. She's married. She has kids.
She was pregnant on the stand. She had baby number 2 on the way. Like, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Me personally, what I'm predicting is that her husband's going to divorce her and take half.
Okay.
It's going to be a city boy summer next year. What do you think about the whole Canelo Crawford fight?
I mean, I thought it was great. I had Bud to win. I probably was very few who had Bud to win, and I wish I was a big gambling person because I'd have put some money on it. But yeah, I had Bud to win. I just, Bud is one of those people that are underdogs. And usually when you're an underdog, you train a little harder. When you run 50 miles a day, when you're an underdog, you run 60 miles. When you're supposed to be in the gym 3 hours, when you're an underdog, you're 3.5 hours. And watching Bud and watching what Bud does, I seen that in Bud. And I just knew Bud was going to win. And people were concerned with him, going up a bunch of weight classes. But I had a feeling Bud was going to come back and win that one.
Well, look, when it comes to odds, I always check betonline.ag, and they had Canelo minus 180, Bud plus 160, which meant that it was almost 2-1 odds on Canelo winning.
Yes.
But it wasn't even close.
No. I knew that. Like I said, sometimes it's you know, when you're boxing, unless you're just physically better, or like, you know, when you look at Floyd Mayweather back in his prime time, he was just better as a person. He was a good defensive boxer, right? I don't care how fast you were, how nice you were, how strong you were, you had to hit him. And he just had something, a talent that was able to see those punches before it came. It was what it was. And Bud, Bud puts the work in. When you talk about somebody that puts the work in, that puts the energy, that shuts down, that doesn't care about the Instagram and social media shenanigans, that just goes to train and handles business, that's Bud. I love Bud as a fighter.
Right, because he's 43-0?
Yeah, 43-0.
Yeah, 40... Is it 42-0 or 43-0? Wait, hold on.
Sure.
I think it's 42-0. Yeah, he's now 40. He was 41-0, now he's 42-0. Do you think he should retire?
No. I'm going to tell you why. And I hate when people say the retire conversation.
Well, because he'll retire because he'll have a perfect record retiring.
Yeah, but this is how I look at Bud. Bud is getting to the point where he's starting to make some I don't want to say real money, but some real money. You know, allegedly he made $50 million in this fight. They're saying Canelo made about $150. Bud's next fight, depending on who he's fighting, is going to make $75, $80 million.
Easy.
Close to $100 million.
Yeah.
How do you turn that down?
How do you turn that down?
You talk about generational wealth earlier. Like, how do you not say, you know, this is for my kids? You know what I mean? And it's not like he's slow. It's not like he looks bad. If he looked bad or slow or couldn't fight, that's something different. He still look amazing. And why not get that $100 million? The same thing with Floyd. When they're like, well, why is Floyd doing exhibition? Because they're paying him $100 million to fight 3 rounds. Oh, it looks bad on his legacy, looks bad on his career. How do you turn down $100 million when you got grandkids that you could say, here, take this money? You know, where I could say, you know what, I'm going to invest this for you. Because at the end of the day, your kids and your grandkids never have to box a day in their life. If the business is structured right and ran right, you ain't got to worry about nothing for the rest of your life.
Well, you know what's crazy is that right after the parade they threw in Omaha, Nebraska, he got pulled over.
They got pulled over. Guns to him, drawn out the car.
Guns drawn.
Yeah, because they seen security's gun.
How crazy is that?
That's, you know, we said on the radio the other day, that was probably a cop that bet on Canelo and was bad about that. Like, it's like,
that's kind of funny.
Look at the population of Omaha, Nebraska.
It's all white.
It's 464,000 people. They
Right.
all know who Bud is, right? Because he's probably the only. Well, I ain't gonna say the only, but he's probably the biggest thing there. So when they pulled him over, they knew who it was. They knew what they were doing when they pulled him off, like guns to the head and all that. It's very disrespectful, man. The mayor already reached out to him and said they apologized. They had a conversation. They're gonna do an internal investigation. But I mean, they know who Bud is. That shit was foul.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated it. I never even met him before, but I know people, you know, Boosie walked him out and stuff like that. Man, listen, every guest I had on my show, granted they were all black, they all said Bud Crawford. Every last one of them. And they were all right. They were all right.
I wish I
every
would have
last one
bet.
of
I
them.
wish I would have bet. Even if I just do a little 10,000 or a little 5,000, I wish I would have
Well,
bet.
you could have gotten, I think, what one of the odds was like 1 point. Yeah, so Bud Crawford was like 1 plus 160.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you bet $100, you get 160 back.
Yeah.
So if you bet, say 10,000, you get 16,000 back.
I'd have took it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd have took it.
Yeah. Well, then there's Gervonta Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Now, according to betonline.ag, Gervonta's minus 215, so more than twice the odds for Davis. Jake Paul's plus 164.
Tank's gonna win that fight.
Think?
Yeah.
He is much smaller.
He is much smaller, but I think Tank has a powerful punch, and I think Tank is a boxer. You know what I mean? People are mad at Tank. Why are you taking this fight? Why are you not taking real fights? It's hard to tell a boxer.
He was supposed to do the rematch with Roach.
I would have loved to see that, because I think Roach won that one.
I agree. Because it was a draw, right?
It was a draw.
But it was a bullshit draw.
I think
because
so.
most people thought that Roach won.
Well, not only that, he went on his knee to wipe the thing off his eye, which is he went down. They didn't give him that, but regardless, I think Tank is a better fighter. I think Tank is a more experienced fighter. I think Tank will win it. But you can't be mad at Tank not doing the rematch with Roach, because how much is Tank getting for this fight? Because everything comes to dollar cents. People are like, oh, legacy and this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, I'm putting my life on the line in a boxing ring. You could punch my head off. I could have CTE and all types of brain damage when you hit me. Why am I not going to do it to make some money and make sure my family's straight? Make sure I'm straight.
Yeah, but you and I come from an era of like where boxing was a serious sport.
Correct.
Right? now they're putting like bears with humans, like
But this
the weight classes are ridiculous. There's no weight classes anymore.
I
You
get
got
it.
heavyweights fighting lightweights.
But how many
It's
boxes do
almost
you
like
see?
the early days of UFC.
But how many boxes do you see right now that we seen that we love that are fucked up financially, that have nothing?
Oh, fuck financially. You know how many I've interviewed that are fucked up?
Regardless.
They can't even talk?
Exactly. So if you're going to do something, you're going to put your body on the line, you at least want a payday. Somebody
get it.
offered me $100 million to fight you, Vlad. Me and you were fighting in that
Me and
ring.
you would fight.
Yeah, me and you were
All
fighting.
right, no one's going to offer that.
Yeah, now, we probably only go 2 rings, so we probably pass out tired. But still.
No, I would train for that.
Look, but still, it's money that will set our kids right. You know what I mean? And if Tank is getting whatever he's getting, $100 million, you gotta say yes. Go get that
Let's
money.
see how much he's getting. Hold on. How much
What's the purse?
is Tank Davis getting? Between 20 and 40 million.
I think it'll be more than that after pay-per-views and all that other stuff. But $40 million is a lot of bread. He wouldn't get that for fighting Roach. Not at all. Not at all. He'll get
No, because Roach is not a big name.
right. He'll get upwards of $40-50 million, I'm sure, after pay-per-views and sponsorships. He'll probably get way more than that. But how do you not do that?
Well, then there is Mayweather versus Tyson.
I don't want to see that either.
Mayweather is favored -500. Tyson is +300. Which is interesting because I would almost think that Tyson would be favored a little bit, but it's really the other way around. It's
Nah, I
5-1 odds for Mayweather.
Yeah, I think Mayweather. I think we seen the last Tyson fight, and I think Tyson looked tired.
He looked horrible.
He didn't hold up
He
well in the ring.
stumbled on his way to the ring.
Yeah, like Floyd still's out there. He trains. Floyd still runs. Floyd still boxes. Floyd still does everything. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but I don't want to see that either. Like, Tyson's not in his prime. What, Tyson 60-something years old, 66 years old?
How old is Tyson? Hold on.
Tyson smokes a lot of weed. I see online. He takes edibles, whatever he does. Like, I don't want to see that. Floyd,
59.
59. Floyd doesn't drink. Floyd doesn't smoke. Floyd still trains. Like, Floyd is a machine. I don't want to see that either. I'm going to watch it. But I don't
Yeah,
wanna see
but
it. Do you want to see it?
not really.
See?
Not really.
I'm going to watch it, though.
We're going to watch it, but I don't think we're going to be excited to watch it. We were excited to watch, Tyson versus Jake Paul.
We were.
And then we were all disappointed. Did anyone say that was a great fight?
No, 'cause
Did
we
you know
want-
a single human being that said that?
We wanted Tyson to knock off Jake Paul's head. That's why. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see Tyson one good time with one of those good punches, lay him down. But we didn't.
I think Jake could have actually knocked out Tyson in that fight.
I think he could have, too.
Yeah, because people like to say, oh, it was fixed. Tyson could have hit him and didn't do it. I remember me and Michael Jai White, who is a professional movie fighter. He gets paid, unlike the rest of us, to pretend to fight people. Right? And he's been doing this for what, 30 years? 200 movies? He said beyond a doubt there was no fix. There was no Tyson purposely didn't hit him. He's like, real time in a situation like that, that's very difficult to do, especially with the whole world watching frame by frame. He said, no, it was a real fight. Tyson just lost. Just is what it is. Well, you had Neon on your show.
Neon, yeah.
And at one point, you guys just cut the interview short and said that that he was wasting your time. Now, I've interviewed Neon before. I thought he was a cool kid. Like, what was the problem that you guys had with Neon?
There was no problem with Neon. I think Neon's main problem was he started listening to his chat, his streaming chat. Right?
What do you mean?
So he started reading the comments on his chat. And I think that gave him a false hope of courage. Meaning, when he came on the show, Jess Hilarious asked him questions about things he said about black people. Right? And he said, if you go through it, he said a lot of foul shit. I mean, there was clips that went viral about the things that he said. Like any other show, if you say something or if I say something about something that you don't like or that's near the dear to your heart, you're going to ask me about it, right? That's what a journalist does.
Yeah.
And that's what Jess Hilarious did. And at first, he was very apologetic and very sorry. And then I think he started reading his chat. And then it just kind of got like, nah, I think y'all doing this. I think y'all doing that. And it just kind of got, I want to say got crazy. We asked him about it. Interview was over. And that was pretty much it. It was nothing. We didn't kick him out. Interview was over. He was streaming for a minute. I think the interview was, 36 minutes, 40 minutes?
Pretty short.
He'd been on the Breakfast Club before. They vary from 30 to 40 minutes. Now, if you're very, very intrigued, they can go to an hour. But I think the average interview on the Breakfast Club is anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes.
But I feel like in his case, you guys just cut it short.
Nah, we
I remember
interviewed.
there was like a weird thing. I think
Nah, we
Aiden
interviewed
Ross
him.
was all mad, saying,
Nah.
"Oh, he's bigger than all y'all." And blah
Nah,
blah blah.
we interviewed him. They were mad that we were asking about all the things that he was just saying, and they felt like we were badgering him. But if you say some foul shit, especially about black people, and the hosts are black, they're gonna ask you about it, and that's what we did. Now, people had a problem with it, fuck them. But we're gonna ask anybody that comes up any question we want to ask them. Now, it's how they answer it is everything else.
I asked Charlamagne when he was on here last time. I said, "Do you feel that you guys ruined Tyler's career with that interview?"
Ruined whose career?
Tyler's.
Tyler.
Yeah. Remember she came on and the whole like colored question came on, and then she got like turned around and it got all awkward and so forth. And recently she dropped an album that sold like nothing, went like triple cardboard, which is weird for an artist of her stature. So do you feel like you guys contributed to that?
No.
How's that?
When you say something outside in this outside world and you come to do an interview, people are going to ask you about it. Right? Now, it's all in how you answer the question. And this is what I tell every label and I tell every artist. We have to ask you the question because there's some shit that you said. We didn't make it up. We didn't bring it up out the air. It wasn't a guess. This is something that you said. So we're asking for clarity or for something you said. If you don't feel comfortable asking or answering, so you have to say, you know what? It was something that I was talking about people in Africa. I'm going to have that conversation when I go back home, or I'm having that conversation when I go to Africa so I can have a conversation and talk to the people that I offended or talk to the people. Then we would be like, okay, I get it. But when you start ducking and dodging, it's like, what do you want to do? You make it awkward. It's like you ask me a question. I don't have to answer that question, right? I could say, look, it's an open case. I can't discuss it right now. What do you say after that, Vlad? You can't say, well, I just tell you. And we've seen that happen a lot of times. It's how you answer it. And the main problem is I think a lot of these labels don't have A&R development and don't have development anymore where they teach people how to do interviews. Because a lot of these people, they're artists thrown into the belly of the beast where they don't know. They don't have anybody saying, well, this is how you answer the question. I remember this might have been 10 years ago. We had Megan Thee Stallion, one of her first interviews, and she was nervous to do the interview, the first Breakfast Club interview. And I don't remember what the situation. There was some type of drama going around. I can't remember what it was. Might have been right when her mom passed. And she was very nervous. And I pulled her to the side and I said, look, if you have a problem ever answering a question, just say, I don't feel like talking about it right now. That's it. That kills the question. You ain't got to say nothing more. You don't got to have diarrhea mouth where you try to explain yourself because you know what? People are not going to believe you anyway. If you can't answer the question, just say, I can't answer it right now. Or I don't want to talk about it right now. Or next question.
Okay. You're talking to a media person right now.
Correct.
So we got to be fair here.
That's right.
When I've done Breakfast Club, every Breakfast Club, I've talked to you guys, we've huddled up, I say, hey, listen, we're all friends here, we all fuck with each other, we do each other's shows. There are certain things I don't want to talk about. So can you please not bring those up? You guys have always respected it. I've had interviews with Charlamagne where afterwards he said, hey, listen, can you take this past interview? There was a whole topic we talked about, and he called me right after and said, hey, listen, can you take that part out? I just don't think that came off very well. What did I say? No problem. From what I understand, and he actually told me this, that her label came in with a list of things not to ask.
Every artist does that.
And you guys asked them anyways.
Every art. Well, that's
so
not,
explain to me what the difference is between me asking
that's not necessarily
and a
true.
label asking.
That's not necessarily true. Every label well, I'm not going to say every label. A lot of labels come in with questions where they don't want us to ask, right?
Right.
And we always say the same thing. If that is the answer, if that's the way you want to go, don't do this interview. Right? So we give you an option. It's not a sneak attack.
You never told me that.
It's not a surprise, right?
Have you guys ever told me that? Have you guys said, well, Vlad, if we can't answer that, then you don't have to come?
Depends.
No. You guys have said no problem.
Depends.
And I would do the same thing for y'all.
Depends, and I'm going to tell you why.
And a lot of other people.
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
We have a relationship that's built on trust, and I've known you since I was probably 21 years old. Right?
There was, and I'm not going to say what it is, but there was an interview I did, I called you about, and you were upset about, and you said, please don't put that out, and I never put it out. Right? We're not even going to say what it's about, because it doesn't matter at this point. But we've all given each other passes over the years.
We established that relationship.
Yes.
Right? There's some artists that'll call me and say, yo, Envy, I did this, that, and the other. We established the relationship, right? And most of the stuff is not necessarily factual or things that can hurt somebody. With the Tyler incident, she just did an incident when she discussed it. So now you come on the Breakfast Club 2 weeks later, and it's a hot topic. So now when you do an interview, what's the push button that you have to ask? That question, right? Now, if it's something that's legal or something that I can't talk about or something that's going through a case or something like that, then yeah. If there's something legal that happened with you and you say, look, I can't talk about it, I don't want to discuss it, okay, fine.
What I've asked you not to discuss has never been legal.
Huh?
Has never been legal.
No, I'm just saying, if somebody comes and says it's a legal situation,
I get it.
it's cool. But now if it's something where you made a statement about a hot topic, let's say you just said, for instance, you talked about a tweet that you put out about the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say you got a lot of bad feedback on it, right? I can't see you next week and be like, don't talk about it. We're going to say, Vlad, we have to ask you that question, but you can say, hey, I can't talk about it right now. We give you that option to say that. But there's certain things we cannot go around.
I feel, let's just say that this became the worst tweet I ever did in my life.
Correct.
And I'm still doing some promo runs. I think I could ask y'all just not to cover this topic, and I think you guys would do that for me. I think you guys would.
It depends.
I think you would.
I don't. If you did it a week ago and it was viral and you just came on the show, I think you wouldn't ask us to do that.
I think
I
would.
don't think you would ask us to do it.
I think I would, and I think you guys would respect that. That's what I think, and I would do the same for y'all.
I don't think you would, but I think we also have a different relationship than a lot of different artists that come on the shows as well.
Yeah, I mean, we go back. I mean, Charlamagne was doing Vlad TV before he joined the Breakfast Club. I was putting Charlamagne on mixtapes when he was in South Carolina, so we really all go back. I just feel like...
But we also give him an option to say, look, we're going to ask an artist, especially an artist that's there for the first time, we're going to ask him everything that people want to discuss. And if you feel uncomfortable with any of these questions, then don't bring them up here. We give people that option. So you can't have your cake and eat it too.
It's a balancing act, because yes, you could do that, but chances are Tyler will probably never come back on the Breakfast Club, right?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe not. Mm-hmm. There's definitely less chance of her coming back after that.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Because not all artists are like, no, I want to confront that. Like, I want to come back and whatever else, and I'm going to put them in their place. Some people are like, you know something? This is proven to be not a very friendly environment. Listen, I deal with this myself. Like, no record label really works with me because they're all scared over the questions I'm going to ask.
Correct.
That's okay because I'm not going to change my format to make some record labels happy when they really don't care about me anyways.
But see, it's also the views, right? The reason you get the views and the reason you get the traction is because of the questions that you ask.
Right.
The reason we get the views and traction is because of the questions that we ask. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't want that type of interview and don't want that traction, there's 1,000,001 other places that you can go to get a happy-go-lucky interview, right? People do it all the time. And then what usually happens? They circle back to Vlad because they be like, we didn't get the traction we needed. They circle back to the Breakfast Club because they're like, we didn't get the traction we needed. So it's like, okay, you don't have to come here. You don't have to come to the Breakfast Club. There's so many different podcasts, so many different radio shows that will be happy to do the interview. But you just won't get the traction because they're not asking the questions that people want to hear.
What do you think the top 3 Breakfast Club interviews of all time? In no order.
When you say top 3, you mean top 3 as far as what people have been talking about?
Just personally, the top 3 kind of moments that you're like, damn.
As far as moments, it's easy. It's probably Soulja Boy, Birdman, and probably Tekashi. Those are the top 3 moments that went, I would say, probably the most viralest and biggest that people are always talking about. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, we have created culture outside of culture. Like when if you ever watching the sports and you're watching the NBA and they be like, you shook all 3 of them. Or you finished or you done. Like, that's from that interview.
All 3 of y'all.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? When you see, when people say Drake's name, they go, Drake! That's from Soulja Boy.
Well, I asked Charlamagne the same question when me and him had our big reunion interview.
Yeah.
Who do you think had the better Soulja Boy interview? Vlad TV or The Breakfast Club? Don't forget,
I know,
Soulja Boy Challenge.
Bong, bong, ping, bing, ting, ding.
Pow, pow,
yeah,
pow.
Of course.
That video, well, a version of it showed up in Childish Gambino's Feels Like Summer. Virgil wanted to use that at his Chicago Museum of Modern Art exhibit. Yeah. Like, it's constantly being memed. So this is not a lightweight interview.
I will say this, though. I love that video, and I remember it, headlock and all that. But to my mind right now, I can't remember what Drake was wearing. But in that Breakfast Club interview, everybody remembers the Gucci headband to the side and him going, Drake! You see what I'm saying? So there's just certain things you remember.
Okay.
Like I remember the pow, pow. Like I remember that part of it, but I can't remember what he was wearing. I could hear it.
He was wearing all white.
All white.
And that jewelry was clanging around too.
But that Drake interview, everybody remembers that headband that's not on the head, that's halfway off, that's singing him yelling Drake with them glasses on. It's something that you just remember.
Hey man, listen, 2 classic Soulja Boy moments.
Classic, yeah.
And at the end of the day, we both pulled them off in our own way.
Absolutely.
It's all good.
I mean, these are things that go down in culture history that, you just know when you pass away that somebody will be taking. You remember that Soulja Boy artist in this interview? You remember that Birdman? Like those are things that you would just always remember.
What do you think was like your worst interview? The one that you just like I hate that I even did it.
Probably the first Chief. I think we only did Chief Keef one. Chief Keef.
He just didn't talk?
You pull in a 16-year-old kid from the projects of Chicago and put on the Breakfast Club, where his whole life he's pretty much taught don't talk and don't say nothing. So now when you interview him, it's just like, so new album out. Yeah. How's it feel? New project. Good. You know what I mean? Like I would love to interview Chief Keef again because he's grown but
he doesn't really do interviews still.
It was like 15, 16 years old. You pulled him up out of old block in Chicago and put him on a Breakfast Club. Even Gotti. Like if you listen to Yo Gotti's first couple of interviews, he never spoke. Now he's kind of comfortable in whatever it was, but at first it was like he's still on the block. You'd be like, you got features? Yeah. Like Jesus, all right. But it's just when you talk about evolution, that's just people evolve.
Yeah, my only interview with Lil Wayne, this was during my DVD era, was pretty much like that. It was like I would ask him a question, get a one-word answer. Like, can you tell me about my, tell me about your tattoos. I'm not a work of art. I'm a gangster. All right, next question. And it was really just like this. Well, last question before I let you go and we switch. No, Diddy. The whole David situation with the 15-year-old girl, Celeste Rivas. Mm-hmm. How do you think this is going to end up?
This is the crazy thing. I really don't know much about him. Really don't know much about the situation other than they found a girl in his car and the car was on the street, it was towed, whatever it may be. But the crazy thing about it is I have a 13-year-old son, just turned 13.
Huh.
And he's heavy into TikTok, right? And he watches TikTok a lot because he plays soccer and he looks for moves. The other day I'm in the car, we driving to his game. And he's telling me the story. As a 12, 13-year-old. He was like, Dad, he actually wrote in his records about him doing the crime and him telling on himself and this, that, and the other. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And they found the girl and she was only 14, but they said that she lied and she had an ID that said this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And when I go back and I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn. Now I don't know what's true and what's not because like I said, my little 12, 13-year-old kid told me. But that just tells you the influence of social media, right? I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but if my 12, 13-year-old son is saying that, that means the world is saying that online.
Well, I know this story. Basically, they found his car. He's got a Tesla Model X. That looks just like mine, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And they found, it'd been on the street for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They finally towed it, and they find a dismembered body inside of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. They had some sort of relationship. I think starting when she was like maybe 12 and he was 17 or something. They had a live stream together. There is some sort of connection. Correct. There's text messages. She goes on his Discord and so forth. He gets, he mentions her name in songs and so forth. And then they find this body. It's his car. They search his house. He cancels his tour. He moves out of the house, but he hasn't been charged. So it's a really crazy situation because I guess, like, remember how quickly they arrested OJ? Mm-hmm. They found Nicole dead. Next thing you know, they're chasing him on the freeway. Like the next day or a couple days later. A bunch of time has passed and he hasn't been arrested. Like there's no probable cause, which almost made me think that maybe he didn't do it. Because you know how it is. you know how you have these entourage members, managers, hanger-ons, weed carriers, whatever else? And it's like, oh shit, you know, this girl's telling me that she's gonna expose him for sleeping with an underage girl and ruin his whole career. That means my job is about to go away. Yo, I'm gonna go kill her for him, and you know, and I'm not, you know, but then you don't know what to do. Once you kill somebody, what do you? Oh, I'm gonna stuff her in the car. Like, you don't know, and I wouldn't be completely surprised if he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, this is the thing with this story, which I was kind of, which made me feel a little way, right? Which is like, the police should be able to figure this out easily, right? You own a Tesla. I own a Tesla.
Yeah.
Right? You and I both know we can see who goes in that Tesla and who goes out that
Right,
Tesla.
there's cameras everywhere.
Cameras everywhere. But not only that, you can see what card opens the car. You can see if it's a card. You can see if it's a phone. You can see whatever goes in there.
I didn't even think about that.
So they can go to that time where that car was and see the last person to go into that car just by going on that Tesla app. And if you think the Tesla company doesn't have at least a year or 6 months of footage, I'm sure they have it on a hard drive somewhere. So they can find immediately who was the last person to drive that car. They can see who parked that car on that street. They can see what phone it came from, and it has cameras everywhere.
Right. There's no like actual physical key that you could put. There's no metal key you could put in a Tesla.
No.
It's these little, you know, the
It's either a
handles are
card
just buttons.
or your cell phone.
It's a card or a cell phone.
And you can see what worked that day. Was it his cell phone? Because if it's his cell phone, you could put him at the point of the crime, or he would have to say who used my phone that day.
Right, but you could have multiple card keys.
Correct.
For your Tesla.
You're right.
And you could say, yeah, I got 5 or 6 of these around. My manager uses it. My personal assistant uses it. My side chick uses it. You know, sometimes when I go out of town, I let people drive my car and so forth.
But
like,
you can see exactly who did it and who did not.
Yeah.
And then if worse comes to worse, you can look in the cameras. I mean, I can go with my Tesla cameras to see my kids in the camera. Me and my kids in the car, if they're in the car while whatever. While I'm running to the store to go get ice cream and the kids there, I can see them.
Well, this makes it even crazier. So why hasn't he been arrested? Or why hasn't the suspect been arrested? I don't know.
If it wasn't a Tesla, then I'd be like, You know what I mean? And please believe there's cameras everywhere in LA. I'm sorry. Depending on what street it is,
It's
they can
Hollywood.
see who drove that car in, where it parked. Like, they can see all of that, the last person. And maybe they're going through footage now to see, but they can find that out. And I'm sure they possibly will.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Too much time has passed. Too much time has passed. Well, what do you got coming up next? I know you got the car shows.
Yeah, so I do the car show. Car show season's over, so we're gonna do car shows next year. Right now, you know what? My daughter just got engaged, and I'm planning a wedding with her fiance. So that is what I'm doing now.
Right. But first, you're gonna talk to her about the prenup.
I know you mentioned prenup, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'll be the bad guy. You can say, Vlad told me to ask you about this, so here's his number. You get mad at him.
Here's his number, get mad at him.
You can give my number to the fiance also. He can call me up and cuss me out. He can cuss me out. I'm the purpose of all the craziness that will occur after it gets mentioned. But I just feel that prenups are very important in this day and age. This is not like our grandparents' time where people just stayed together, through thick and thin and died together. I mean, divorces happen 60% of the time. You don't know how things happen, especially she got a dad with a lot of money, a lot of money going to be flowing into her accounts and so forth. The last thing you want is for this not to work out a few years later, and then suddenly she's having to pay him alimony.
Yeah.
He gets half of everything that you gave her. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's a lot.
That's the part I don't want to think about. I just want to think I'm planning, making my little baby happy.
But you got to think about it.
You're right. Because it's a business relationship.
Do you have car insurance?
Of course.
Do you think about getting into a horrific accident every day?
Not at all.
But you still have car insurance, right? When you get in your car, do you put on your seatbelt?
Of course.
Or do you think, I'm just going to get thrown clear. I'll be okay. No, you put on your seatbelt. That's what a prenup is. It's a seatbelt.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have that conversation. Because remember, I've been with my wife since 16, 15.
I'm not talking about your wife.
You're right.
I'm talking about your daughter.
You're right.
It's too late for you and your wife.
You're right.
That's it.
You're right.
Okay?
You're right.
She gonna take half if she leaves you.
She take more than half. I got 6 kids. Yeah.
But your daughter? I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm putting that out there in the world.
I'm gonna have that conversation. All right, so it's DJ Envy taking over Vlad TV. Now this is the swap segment where I get to ask Vlad some questions.
Correct.
All right, Vlad. So you've been doing Vlad TV for how long now?
Since 2008.
Since 2008. So where do you see Vlad TV going in the next couple of years, and where do you want it to go?
We have a big deal in the works right now. I'm not going to say who it's with or what exactly it is, but in the coming months, there should be a big announcement about what the next level of Vlad TV is about to be.
Would that be television or their own network?
Could be a lot of stuff. I don't want to put it out there yet because the early part of the deal is in place, but the big deal hasn't been announced yet. So once that's announced, then best believe I'll come by the Breakfast Club again and talk all about it. And it's going to be a pretty big deal. I'll tell you off camera what it is.
Now you also recently talked about the most money you ever spent for an interview.
Yes.
What was that number?
I don't want to say, but it was, I'll put it like this. It was more than Marlon Wayans asked for. So put that number together.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was for the Tekashi 6ix9ine interview.
Tekashi 6ix9ine interview. All right. So was it $1 million?
No, it was not $1 million.
Okay. Just ask.
It's not $1 million.
That's the first thing.
No interview in the world is worth $1 million.
So when you talk about paying an artist for an interview, does it...
Not just artists, all sorts of people.
All sorts of people.
Artists.
When I mean artists,
professional players,
people that you do interviews with.
Sports players, gangsters, a lot of people.
Do you ever get nervous or feel like it's muddy in the waters, right? And the reason I ask is now when Vlad reaches out to somebody to do an interview, the first thing that they possibly think is, well, how much can I get for it? Opposed to before where it was like, yeah, I would love to come on your platform because I think we can have a great conversation. Do you ever feel like that would be a problem, especially when you talk about them? Like before, it was assumed that maybe Vlad paid somebody or maybe somebody else paid somebody to do an interview. But when you talk about it, it's like, does that muddy the water make you feel nervous of getting artists?
No, because the majority of interviews we don't pay for. I'm not paying you for this interview. I didn't get paid when I did Breakfast Club. I mean, I get paid to do certain interviews on certain platforms, but most times I don't get paid. So at the end of the day, it's not always that. But we're in an area where for the first time in history, there are so many interview platforms. When you go back to 20 years ago, you had to either do radio or you do television, or that's it, right? There was no podcast. That wasn't a real thing. There wasn't all these media outlets and so forth. These days, think about, like, everyone we know has a podcast. Fat Joe and Jadakiss has a podcast. LeBron James has a podcast. Paul George has a podcast. Keke Palmer has a podcast. Like, all the actors, everyone has podcasts. Like, all the comedians I know have their own podcasts. So you're competing against all these people. And when it comes to someone who actually has a big following or has a really crazy story, they can pick who they want to go to. So for some people, they're going to go to the biggest platform. For some people, they're going to go with whoever's going to give them the biggest check. So with us, we don't mind cutting a check because 99% of the time, those interviews end up being profitable. Every so often, we'll lose money. Every so often, things will go a little bit left. But we've almost made back our money off the Tekashi interview, and we're only like a third of the way in. I'll probably double what I paid him at the end of the day. I was the only person to actually put that type of money out there. It's really no different than booking someone for a show. At the end of the day, look, we have relationships with artists. There's lots of artists that will do a show for us for free. But if you have a hot artist and you don't really have a close relationship, you're going to have to pay that person.
Absolutely.
And if that show makes money, everyone's happy.
I want to ask, of course, you've been called a culture vulture before.
Many times. Probably today.
You're white, right?
Yes.
Does that bother you? And the reason I asked is if it bothers you, is before I knew what Vlad was, right? I knew Vlad as a DJ, right? I knew Vlad's mixes.
Yes.
So I seen Vlad's grind. I feel like when they call you a culture vulture or say that you're white and you're taking advantage of the community or you're just getting people locked up, do you feel like that erases the history that you put in this industry? No. I mean, because you can't sit there and rest on your laurels when it comes to this game. Yes, I have a history, and I got Mixtape of the Year with Tupac Rap Phenomenon. I mean, the plaque is right there when you walk in. I got Mashup of the Year for Rock Phenomenon. I had mixtapes that were loved and so forth, but that was a long time ago. And at the end of the day,
I had to reinvent myself, and I had to figure out what to do as I got older and as new platforms emerged. And YouTube was a platform that I embraced really, really early. And ultimately, there are people that weren't even alive when I was doing mixtapes. Mm-hmm. So I have to keep proving what it is that I do, and I have to keep pushing the envelope. And at 52 years old, I'm really honored when like Complex does these like hip hop media lists, and I'm like in the top 10 or top 6 or whatever else. I forgot what my number was, but to keep pushing the envelope and keep coming out with stuff that really react and millions of people watch, and you're going viral on every platform and so forth. I think I've proven myself year after year, time after time. So of course there's going to be people that just don't like me. There's people that just don't like you.
Of course.
Doesn't matter what you do.
Of course.
When you told me about like the donating to the DJs and me being a DJ, I mean, I'm DJ Vlad, I was like, yo, that is so dope. But I'd never heard about this. Mm-hmm. It's not because I don't like you. Mm-hmm. I just never heard about it. Mm-hmm. And when I heard about it, I'm like, oh, this is really dope. I'm looking at Envy a little bit differently right now because of that. But not everything you do, especially the positive stuff, is going to get out there. All the negative stuff, you with the real estate bullshit got way more promotion than you giving a DJ money for when he gets out of his heart attack. Mm-hmm. But that's just life. And you have to deal with that. You have to understand what it is. But people that really deal with me, that really know me, that know me behind the scenes, that know what I actually do, and you really look at what I do, I help squash a lot of beefs. A lot. Mm-hmm. I help de-escalate situations. I've told people to do things that ended up saving their lives. I've actually saved people's lives. Like I've done a lot of stuff that people don't want to focus on. But look, if you don't like Vlad, you don't like Vlad, and I'm always going to be a culture vulture.
Does Vlad enjoy his life, right? And the reason I ask is this, right? I enjoy my life, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a DJ. I can go out. I can hang out with my kids. I don't need security every time I go out. I can travel with my wife. But with the artists that sometimes you interview, when you go out, you need security. Or do you not?
I only use security when I go to certain events where I may run into certain artists and entourages and so forth. When I walk around LA, when I'm at the mall, when I'm at a restaurant, I never have security. I usually carry a weapon on me just in case, but I never ever have security when I'm just walking around. And contrary to popular belief, I'm absolutely loved. Like I stay in Brooklyn a lot now when I'm out here. I can't walk down a Brooklyn block without a couple people walking up to me, telling them how much they love my work, asking for pictures, introducing their kids, going into stores. I was at Supreme yesterday where I bought this shirt. Like half the store knew who I was, wanted to take pictures, gave me their number. Yo, if you need anything, whatever else. Like this is the reality of my life. My reality is not everywhere I go. Like the Tekashi situation where he got jumped in the gym and so forth, that doesn't happen to me. Mm-hmm. It could. I'm not saying that I'm invincible or whatever else. I'm universally loved. We're not universally loved. Mm-hmm. But it's not like I am known as a snitch or people like to say that I get people locked up. Who did I get locked up? Name one person.
Nobody I know.
I can name you one person. Keefe D.
Did you got him locked up?
Well, I didn't get him locked up, but my interview with him
was used.
It got on the radar of Las Vegas PD, from what I heard. They actually tried to get that footage for the trial, which I didn't cooperate on. They never got the footage. But you could say that interview had a series of events that led to someone getting locked up. But in his case, he wrote a book detailing everything we talked about in the interview. If you're going to write a book about a crime, you can't get mad that the interview about the book ends up getting you arrested for the crime. But outside of that, you can't name a single person. Casanova 2 times, nothing to do with my interview. Arab, nothing to do with my interview. Mm-hmm. I could keep going. Taxstone, nothing to do with my interviews. You could ask those people, and they'll tell you it has nothing to do with Vlad. But people like to say, oh, look, the internet, oh, there's an interview that Vlad asked Casanova about being a gangster, so obviously that's why he went to prison. No, he went to prison because there was actual evidence. He was DMing people. He was texting people. People cooperated. There's this, there's that. Him talking about him being a gangster 20 years ago had nothing to do with this case. But people like to feign a narrative, and that's okay. I'm the bad guy sometimes, and I understand that.
When you are the bad guy, and there's been artists that have done other interviews and called you bad guy, that got on social media and called you the bad guy, have you ever ran into them and approached them and had conversations with them?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think who, but I never duck these kind of situations. Like if I see someone out, I'll go talk to them. And usually it'd be like, who did I run into? Like, me and Polo G, we had a talk about that. Mm-hmm. We ran into each other at a bank in Calabasas, and we went outside and we talked because he had said some things about me negatively, and I'm like, why not just call me and tell me that if that's how you feel, because I gave you one of your first big looks, you know? But I also understand that when it comes to this game, we're not like a major morning show on a major radio station that's owned by the biggest radio conglomerate in America, if not the world. So a lot of artists feel that coming up, they could do Vlad TV, but once they get to a certain level, they don't have to mess with Vlad TV anymore. Like, for example, like G Herbo, I was talking to his people about doing an interview, and ultimately he passed, but he did some podcast that got 678 views. Mm-hmm. Not 678,000, 678, less than 1,000 views. He spent an hour on this podcast, but he wouldn't do Vlad TV. But Vlad TV was interviewing him over and over again on his come up. But once he gets to a certain level, well, he don't want to do Vlad TV anymore because Vlad TV's the feds now and whatever. I feel like that's lame, but that's life.
Does that bother you though? Do you feel, because it almost like
from
you feel like
a competition
it
level,
feels like
it
it's
does
almost like
bother me.
entitled, like
It
like
does.
you're entitled to come here.
No, he's not entitled to do anything. No one's entitled to do. Like I don't feel as entitled, but I feel like humans are naturally. Like what's the word that I'm looking for? Like if you do something for someone, most humans will try to return that favor for you.
Reciprocate it, yeah.
Yeah. The reciprocal beings, right? I've learned over time that when people do something for me, I try to do something back. It may not be the exact same thing, but it's always in the back of my mind. So I feel like, like I looked out for you when no one was checking for you. When you were just an up-and-coming artist. I did the Migos first interview. You haven't seen the Migos on Vlad TV in forever. Mm-hmm. I did a lot. Big Sean's one of his first interviews. You haven't seen Big Sean in forever. They'll go and do other platforms. They'll do that White Girls, podcast.
Bobby
Althoff, because she's kind of like quirky or whatever else. So it doesn't bother me. I don't feel entitled, but I feel like, damn, like we put together some dope work. And you go and pass on me to do some lame shit.
But you know the reason why, though.
Why is that?
It's a softball interview. It's like, when I'm coming up in this game, I need every look that I can get.
Right.
When I make it, why am I going to go to Vlad? He's going to ask me a question that I don't want to answer. Why am I going to go to Breakfast Club when I want to answer certain questions? The same reason why Drake did Bobby Althoff. Drake controlled that interview.
Yeah.
He controlled that interview.
No, I get
right?
you.
He can, he can say, make sure, like, he can't come up here and say, don't ask me about this. You're going to be like, fuck you, I'm going to ask you about this. Right?
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? Same thing with the Breakfast Club. So those are the reasons why they get to a point in their career where they're like, fuck it, I don't need it. Until they need it again.
But the thing is that you could sit down with me and, the way we were talking about, like, I really don't want to talk about this, and I'll respect that. We could sit down and have a conversation and say, listen, like, I want to do this, but just don't ask me about this, this, and this. And I will respect it.
That's a lie, Vlad.
You don't think so?
If Drake comes up here and says, I don't want to talk about none of the Kendrick beef.
No problem. I'm still getting a Drake interview.
And you're not going to ask him anything about the Kendrick interview?
If those are the rules, Drake will do Vlad TV for the first time ever. But do not ask about Kendrick. I will not turn down that interview. And I don't think you guys will turn it down either.
We would.
You would?
To not ask him about Kendrick. We don't have to ask about the details of the legal case, but to ask where it started, why. When him and J. Cole were best friends and it seemed like there's certain things that you would want to ask, just as a hip-hop head, not even no chatty patty stuff, just as a hip-hop head, you would want to know. Right or wrong?
Well, you and I are approaching it a little bit differently, right?
Because there's just certain things that, we know the history, but see, I interviewed Drake before and I went through that already, but to go into, and I don't care about who won the battle, who not, but just somebody's mind frame. Because Drake has really never done an interview after all his shit. Think about
He
it.
did Bobby Altoff recently.
Come on.
Right.
Like, think about it. Like
He touched on certain things on there.
like I would want to go back to him and Meek going back and forth, right? And does he really have a writer? How deep is his writer? Is it just helping you with hooks? These are the things that you would want to know as a hip hop head. I would want to know as a hip hop head, and we would love to answer. From the beef with Pusha T, how that started, why he bought the jewelry, did he melt the jewelry? Like all that stuff we would want to know. And if he said you can't ask me anything about my album, you would still do it?
So I could only ask him about his new album?
Correct.
I mean, if it was that limited,
Vlad, I would tackle you outside as soon as you walk out this building. If you
you and I, listen, but you and I are speaking from a slightly different perspective, right? Because you're on the Breakfast Club, which is ultimately owned by iHeart, right? And whether the numbers are crazy or the numbers are kind of tame, you still have your position. With me, it's all the bottom line for me.
You're a journalist, though, at the end of the day.
I am a journalist, but I'm also a business owner, and you have to kind of balance the two. So you mean to tell me a softball Drake interview that might get 10 million views, even though a softball, or no Drake interview at all, business-wise, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I would ultimately have to play ball with that if that was the rule, because you also think that in a situation like that, okay, I'm going to follow the rules. This is going to set up a relationship. Like me and Tekashi now have a relationship now. We now talk on a regular basis, and we're talking about doing more shit and whatever else. There were certain things he didn't want to talk about because he had an open case as well, right? And I respected that. So you have to sometimes give up certain things that you really want to do for the long term of it. So I know that's not the answer you want,
but
I'm giving you an honest answer.
Yeah,
I would just simply not turn down a Drake interview because it's Drake.
I got you.
Same thing with a Jay-Z interview, same thing with a Nas interview, same thing with an Obama interview, same thing with a Trump interview. Now, sometimes those people don't give a shit. I'm sure Trump doesn't care. Trump, you could ask him anything. But for example, you had a situation where like Kamala Harris didn't want to do Joe Rogan unless it was on her terms.
Correct.
He turned it down, and ultimately everybody lost. She lost the election. He lost an interview with Kamala, and look what happened. Nobody wins. He could have done something, and it could have been phenomenal. We don't know. Maybe all the things, because sometimes people will say, I don't want to talk about this, that, and the third. But once you really get good at what you do, there's ways of getting into certain things, and sometimes people will just start talking about it themselves.
Of course, happens all the time.
So that's what I'm saying. I would take the opportunity to interview Drake, even if there's a whole bunch of like landmines that I can't step on, because I think there's still so much of his story that you could talk about outside of the Kendrick beef that's going to really react.
Now, when you interview an artist, right, is it difficult for you to interview somebody that doesn't necessarily see the things that you see eye to eye? So meaning, you know, you have a very diverse group of people working here, right? One of the person that does camera and sound is black. Another woman is Puerto Rican. Another woman is Spanish. When you have somebody that's up here that's, let's say, racist, how do you conduct that interview? Meaning it might offend you. It might offend the people working here. How do you conduct those type of interviews?
Well, I try to have talks with potential employees about certain things, right? So I had an employee that was gay, right? And he was openly gay, and that's cool. Me and him had a talk, and we had a situation where one of our guests said some things about gay people.
I can guess what guest, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I know what guest it is. I'm sure.
Who is it?
I don't know. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want you to guess.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Who was it?
Lord Jamar.
I
Yes, you
wasn't
would've
guessing
guessed
that. I was guessing Boosie.
Lord Jamar has certain feelings about gay people that I don't necessarily share with.
Okay.
Right? Sometimes there's certain things I agree with him. Sometimes there's, you know, he feels the earth is flat. You know, that's my friend, but I don't agree with him on that, right? So he said certain things. I remember like certain like gay slurs and stuff like that. I think like before the cameras were rolling, and I had a gay camera person, and they got really upset, and I think they quit afterwards.
Really?
Right. And I felt bad about that. It wasn't something I said. It was something that a guest said. So I remember when hiring another gay employee, me and this person sat down, and I said, listen, we're going to have some guests that might say some things that might bother you in terms of your views of sexuality.
Right.
Sometimes, we have guests that, have somewhat racist views sometimes. I mean, I've interviewed former Aryan Brotherhood.
Yep.
We've interviewed Umar Johnson, and I have mixed kids. Like, he's anti-bunny hopping. He's anti my family, essentially.
Well, he only likes half of your family.
Yeah, half of my family, right.
Okay.
Well, really like a quarter. Yeah,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
Right? So he was like, hey, man, it's not my place. Like, at the end of the day, it's not my business. I'm here to do a job. And something, during the whole time that he was employed with me, there was never an issue. Because we had that conversation ahead of time.
Before.
Because I don't control what my guests say. I could try to temper it to a certain degree, but you won't hear me saying some of this stuff. Like, I'm not going to say anti-gay stuff, anti-black stuff, anti-Muslim stuff, anti-Jewish stuff. That's just not who I am. But if a guest says it, I feel like my staff understands that this is just part of the overall situation, and I would hope that it doesn't bother them. But they always have the option to talk to me if it does, and I'm very open to hearing what they have to say.
I asked them beforehand. They told me that they're cool with it.
Who?
I swear, your whole staff. I asked them.
Staff? Okay.
Yeah, and not everybody, because they were telling me some guests that were coming up next.
Yeah.
And one of the guests, I was like, damn. I said, well, how do you feel when you have a guest up there that might not align with what you think?
I mean,
and they all said the same thing. It was like, nah, we don't give a fuck. But I like to talk. Like,
yeah.
I'm a talker. I like to talk to people when they come up here.
Listen. Tomorrow we have an interview with Errol Musk.
That was the guy.
And now he's accused of sexually assaulting his kids,
his own kids,
male and female, and so forth. So this is obviously
Did
a very
he something
triggering.
like kill black people, kill 3 black people, something like that, allegedly?
Well, it was a home invasion robbery.
A home invasion. Oh, okay,
and he
okay.
killed them in self-defense.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's not like he was out in the streets shooting black people.
Oh, all right.
It just so happened that the people that were trying to break into his home, and I think he had a daughter that was asleep at the time.
You break into somebody's home, you get what you get.
Yeah,
it is.
That's what I'm saying. So no, he's not out. I'm not interviewing.
They made it seem like he killed 3 black people.
No, I'm not interviewing people out there shooting black people.
For you over there.
No.
He's like, he killed 3 black people. I said,
listen,
shit.
you break into my home. I don't care if you're black, white, Jewish.
I don't give a fuck if you got one leg. You break in my house, I'm shooting.
Whatever, gay, straight. I don't care if you're a midget.
I'm not asking.
I'm going to shoot you.
You're going down.
You're going down. But I would not interview somebody that kills black people.
Okay.
Or really.
You're right over there, man. Maybe I was worried about you. Last question.
Yeah.
What is the most amount of money you spent on something other than your home?
I've got a watch. It's pretty expensive.
Why? Why did you want that watch?
The Richard Mille?
Yeah.
Or the Richard Mille?
Richard Mille.
The Richard Mille. Me and you were talking about this watch before my Breakfast Club interview. It was a watch I always wanted, and in the watch world, you're always very cautious about certain brands.
Of course.
Because, I remember I had a Hublot King Power. I think I wore it on the Breakfast Club at one point.
Yep.
At the time, it was a hot watch. Jay-Z was new watch alert, Hublot, and it was the hottest thing.
Dropped like a motherfucker.
Dropped like a brick. Dropped like a brick. I remember when I sold it, I sold it at a loss, right? So I was always kind of funny about the RMs. But it was a watch I'd always wanted. And at one point, I'm like, I had to trade in some other watches. Mm-hmm. I'm not like a Drake that has like a 80 watch collection or whatever. It was like, all right, I had to trade in like a AP and a couple of Rolexes and kick up some money on top of that. But it was a dope watch. And when I wear it out, it's like people are like, oh shit, I got a Richard Mille. You get viewed a certain type of way. You're in a different type of caliber when that gets, when you're out there with that. And the thing with watches, it's not an investment, but it is a decent place to park your money. Meaning that
some watches are investments.
Yeah, so some watches, but
limited pieces, depending on what you get.
Yeah, you're talking about the off catalog pieces,
of course,
from Rolex, but they're only investments if you could get them at retail.
Retail, correct.
When you're buying them at the resale value for $300,000, when you go to sell it, you're going to get about $300,000 if you're lucky, probably even a little bit less. So they're only investments if you can get them way under the actual resale price. In order to do that, you have to buy like 100 watches from Rolex, or you have to have some sort of connection to the company, which I've never really had. I've always bought myself resale. So I just felt it was a dope piece. It was a piece that I ultimately could afford. I bought it by trading in other watches. So my overall money out of my pocket wasn't immense. And I think it's a dope piece.
Okay.
It's a dope piece. And getting insurance for it was hell.
I'm sure.
Was hell. I had to go to an overseas company and I had to like do all this stuff for them to even insure it. But it's a dope piece. And I kind of felt like, I've reached a certain level in my life because I've had Rolexes for a long time. I've had APs for a long time. I've had, I've had Hublots. I've had Cartiers, but I've never had a Richard Mille. So I felt when I got that, it was like, okay, like I've reached just a new level in my life. And because not only do you have to afford the watch, but you have to afford to insure it, and you also have to afford to protect it.
Correct.
Meaning that you have to have security, you have to have certain types of safes, you have to do a bunch of other stuff. And the fact that I was able to get it and keep it, to me, was a big accomplishment.
Well, congratulations. You deserve it.
Thank you.
All right. It's Vlad TV, DJing for y'all.
Peace.